walks no one knows. We're going down. We're going down. We're going down. Do you dare to follow me down? Head into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
You guys can't hear me. I'm sitting here saying hello and nobody can hear me. Hi, everybody. First and foremost, I want to apologize greatly. I hate leaving people in the chat waiting. Something came up very, very last minute, right when we were getting ready to go live, and I had to take care of it. I apologize profusely for anybody who has sat in chat and waited for me without knowing what was going on, and just, I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. Everything is okay. I just had to take care of it. And it really put us kind of behind schedule and kind of threw everybody who was going to be joining us tonight off, probably threw all of you guys off. Once again, I just apologize from the bottom of my heart, and thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for waiting, and thank you guys for caring about Gannon and supporting this channel and supporting justice for Gannon. The lovely Mia Moore Michelle is here. We do have some other guests that are going to be coming up throughout the live whenever they have some availability to kind of just help with my mental concentration, because I'm kind of, yeah, I am physically fine. I am concerned about somebody that I care about, and was just trying to make sure that person is okay. So that's kind of where we're at right now with that.
Yep. We're just got a little regroup together, and then we're going to hit Gannon's case. So we got this. Hey, C-Dub. How are you?
So let me say hi to everybody. Hi, C-Dub, and thank you. Hi, Seth. Love you too. Elena, and Seth. Princess Megan Elsa, and Jane Doe, and Muffy. Hey. And hi, Angela. Hi, Ava. Hi, Jessica.
Hey, Queen Bee.
Hi, Colorado Mountain Life. Hi, Crime Curious. Hi, Jenna and Shauna.
And Dolly Bear.
My queen bee to you. Hi, Melmac. Hi, MK. I don't even know if half you guys are even in chat anymore, but I'm going to say hi to you anyway.
Hey, Sunset Gazing.
Hi, Gazing. Hi, Rhiannon.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Carol. Inspector Gadget and Jenna. And Dynamite. Minnie Mo.
Hey, over here. How are you? There's our Delana.
I like it. Over here. I'm over here. Look this way. I'm over here.
Over here. This way.
Oh, shit, it's Sherry. Oh, am I not supposed to say that? Oh, it's Sherry.
That's cool. Punksy.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Punksy.
Love our Punksy. Maria. How are you?
Hi, Maria.
We could see some green names tonight. I can anyway, a little bit. Let's see what else we can get to see. Hello. Gypsy Mac. Goodness. Gypsy Mac's still here, though. They hung around.
I'm still here. Thank you. I know. I kept trying to pop into the chat and like tell you guys, like I'm trying.
Thank you guys.
I considered just postponing it, and then I'm like, we have so much stuff going on. It would be some chaos, but everything's okay. So I just have to take a deeper. Oh, Seth, you didn't have to do that.
Oh, thank you. Hey, Amber.
Let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Like, all of our favorite peoples are here. Mama Shellbell.
Oh, how are you? Love it.
So, Michelle, if you guys are familiar with Michelle, then she puts together these beautiful presentations for the cases that we cover, and she has lovingly done one for Gannon as well. So we're going to share that with you guys tonight. We do have quite a comprehensive timeline that we do have put together. Hi, Missy. So we'll share that with you guys as well. I have the luxury of having some other people that are coming on this evening. And then I believe on Friday, we're going to have a live with the lovely Crime Curious. So she can tell us her expertise around the case. And she has been following it most likely from day one like we have. So she's got amazing research, and I want you guys to be able to hear what she's got planned for covering the case as well. So Benjamin.
And we got Cha-Cha-C. Am I saying that right? Cha-Cha-C. Oh, Miss,
so I'm not going to
postpone,
but we may end up splitting it into 2 parts, only because time-wise, I have tiny humans that like their mother for some odd reason. I don't know why. ATS News, are you here? Oh, hi, ATS News.
She is here. Hi, MK. Oh, thank you, Jane Doe, for being here. Thank you all for being here. We absolutely want to cover this for Gannon, and we know his justice is on his way. So we're just going to prep for this trial and watch it unfold.
Amber's one of the best, too. I absolutely agree.
She literally is. Amber finds all the good stuff.
And if you're an early bird, she's the one. She's the one for you.
Yep.
I have to do a replay. I'm constantly on ATS replay crew.
Teresa's still sleeping.
Gypsy.
Hey, Gypsy.
Hi, Kentucky Lee.
Jessie Cat. How are you? Kentucky Lee. Thank you. Yeah, guys, hit the thumbs up. If you can, share this. Tell a friend to come on over. We're going to talk some Gannon, and let's keep his story out there.
So I'm going to ask you guys quickly in chat. Are you familiar with the Gannon Stauch case? If you are, please put a 1. If this is something that you've kind of just heard of or you don't know anything, hit a 2. Hi, Dynamite, and thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, Dynamite. Oh, that's super cool. It's like her name with the mite.
You know, all these channels have names for their members. That sounds terrible. Right? I shouldn't say that, right? That's probably not what I meant.
So what she was trying to say was
that names for the people who join their channels as members. Yeah. Like we probably need a name for our members. So yeah. I definitely need a name because that's not going to freaking work at all.
Well, if you guys want, drop some suggestions down there and we'll pull it and see what we get out of it.
Okay, so a lot of ones, 2 not overly familiar. C-Dub, it is supposed to be on WebEx. That was the final court ruling that I know of. The criminals. If you guys want, I mean, I have no problem. I can call you guys criminals.
The criminals. Oh, there we go. Fancy pants.
Call you guys the fancy pantses. Fancy pants would be like, wait a minute, are they talking to me?
Delana, I'm already going to pre-thank you, babe. Thank you for being here tonight.
Yes, very familiar. Okay, so hi, Dolly Bear. Okay, so I think a lot of people are familiar. So Gannon's case, it's been one that I have literally followed since the day he went missing when it was reported. I had a friend of mine at the time who lived not very far from where Gannon lived, and so she knew about it immediately and brought it into the true crime groups. And I think right off the bat, many of us were like, what this is not making any sense at all. Hi, sweet Melissa. Hi, Brandy Wine and True Crime.
Ooh, love that name. Brandy Wine.
So it has been one that I've tried to follow pretty consistently, but you know, she's done so much since she's even been locked up that I don't even know if I know half of it at this point. So C-Dub, they said that that jury selection is starting on March 20th, which is Monday. Right? Yeah, Monday. And that the trial is set to the criminally curious, the criminalities. That
Oh,
one might be a good one. I like that.
I like that too. That's why you're just a YouTuber. You get it. She gets it.
Well, she's just a YouTuber, so she knows the tubes. So they said March 20th, it should be about 2 weeks for jury selection.
Yeah.
And then the trial starts April 3rd, and they say the trial is set to take take 6 weeks to complete.
Yeah. I feel bad for this jury, man. Ooh,
So it's going to be a big one.
big.
Hi, alibi. Hi, broken dishes. I like criminalities. Welcome to the criminalities.
That's cool.
I like that too.
Broken dishes.
I like that too. Sweet Melissa, I followed since day one in real time. I remember Dad with a Phone. Yep, I remember Dad with a Phone. Dad with the Phone was huge in the Kelsey Barrett case. And I followed him from that point. And then he did a lot with Letitia Stauch.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just went away.
He released the call before everyone else, I believe, because I think it was one of his subscribers or supporters that actually sent it to him. And I think he waited a few days before he even released it because it was just sitting in his email. And then when he did, he kind of says it himself. He kind of blew up from that. And then I guess he kind of stepped away from the case a little bit.
Well, I know last I knew of him, he was running for politician, but he had a lot of enemies with the police force, and it was just kind of chaos. And so I don't know what he ended up doing with his life, but just joined. Will it be covered live? So the trial is going to be aired on WebEx, and I do believe there are a few channels that are going to be streaming it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he blew himself up on YouTube. Yep.
Yeah.
He did a lot on Facebook Lives. That's where he really shined, was on Facebook Live.
Yeah. His personality was super cool. The wife was in the background. His kid was right there. It was here we go. It was cool. It was cool. Hey, Charlie T.
So Letitia, and I know we'll go through timelines and stuff, but Letitia had 2 competency hearings where she was deemed competent. And she has recently undergone her second sanity evaluation. So anybody who's not familiar, so being competent to stand trial is basically, will you understand what's happening in the courtroom while it's happening? Will you understand what's being asked of you, what people are being asked, of what the lawyers are asking of other people, what the judge means? Are you competent to understand why you're there and what's going on around you, pretty much? We saw that with Lori Vallow as well. Hi, Candace.
Hi, Candace. Yeah,
hi, Mudslinger. So competency has more to do with the trial. So she was deemed competent to stand trial. And those are actually very common. You'll see that kind of happen in a lot of cases where they try to be deemed incompetent, and kind of postpones their trial, gets, them where they still get the right to the speedy trial, but they also get, a little bit postponement so that the defense can kind of come up with, some strategies. Hi, Kaleidohope. And then sanity is different. So what happens is the defendant would plead not guilty by reason of insanity. And what they have to do for that is to prove that the defendant, while doing these acts, was insane. Hi, Kez Chick. Hi. Oh, welcome, Alyssa. Welcome to the criminalities. Yeah, see, it's pretty good.
It works already. Look at that.
Hi, Iris. Hi, did I say hi to Candace? Hi, Candace.
You did.
I did. I'm sorry.
Candace, you're extra special tonight. Hey, Angelina.
So she has tried to now say that she's not guilty by reason of insanity. This is a tough sell for a couple of reasons. The defendant has to, one, basically say, I did do most of what they're saying that I did, but I was not in the right state of mind. I was insane at the time I did it. A lot of the times you would see this in cases, and insanity, it's so hard to prove. It's just so hard to prove, but you would see it mostly in cases of like rage killings, almost. Like if something happened to your child and then that you go after that person, in a rage, and you're because you'd be like kind of insane about what happened, that you'd see that in something like that. But insane is just now, it's going to be just around the time that the crime was actually committed. It could be continued after, but they have to be able to prove that the person was insane at the time they did it. So somebody can still be insane, obviously, when they're, going to trial.
Mm-hmm.
But hi, Lady Tinkerbell.
Lady Tinkerbell.
Your boss expects you to answer. You're like, I am on YouTube right now. I am busy doing this.
Busy.
So she had her 2 competency hearings, was deemed competent both times to stand trial. And then she had 1 sanity evaluation. She was deemed sane. And then they requested a second one, which is her last of her last options. So that she requested a second sanity evaluation. And for anybody who knows a little bit about the case, and you guys all said you kind of followed it. So what happened was she was supposed to be like ready to go to trial, right? Because their jury selection is March 20th. Well, her last hearing last week, because what happens right before they go to trial is they have like a readiness hearing. And it's basically just a check-in, like defense, are you ready to go? Prosecution, are you ready to go? Judge, you're ready to go. Everybody, you guys have your witnesses lined up. You have all your evidence. You have all your documentation, and we're ready. Well, so she had her readiness hearing last week. I believe it was on Thursday. And she, her defense team does not have her final sanity report, which was due to the court, I believe, on like March 5th or 6th. Yeah. And they haven't turned it in yet. Well, the defense is like, well, that's because the doctor hasn't given it to us. Like, we are not turning it in. We're trying to give it to you, but they haven't given it to us. So judge was kind of pissed. It was like, hey, there's like no respect for the court, no respect for the law, no respect for the timeline. And you were supposed to have all of this, to us. And so he set a new date that it has to be turned in by the 15th. So today. And I don't know. I'm curious. Do you happen to know? Do you happen to know if they did actually get it in today? I have not seen any updates on it. I've been all over the place today. My life's kind of been chaos.
It's been that day.
One, per the question previously, again, I'm late trying to catch up. Hold on. Did you ask a question, Brandy? I'm sorry. I missed it. Let me scroll up. Oh, 1 per the question. Oh, never mind. Dumb. That was my question. Yeah. I thought you were asking me a question. You're all 1 per that question. Okay. So.
I don't think it's been turned in yet, but I could be wrong here. Crime
5
Curious.
p.m. Mountain is the deadline. So, 3/16. Okay. So it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I thought it was today. Dolly Burr says, you know what? That's actually very interesting. I've always wondered, how can you determine that a murderer should go to jail, but an insane person should go to a mental hospital? That's really going to be why, because they're just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The public can go. There is seats for the public. And Crime Curious could probably answer this better, but because I don't want to get the 2 cases mixed up with Vallow, but I know I think it was Judge Boyce that actually said they were going to have an extra room for people. I don't remember. I'll wait for Crime Curious on that one. Because as far as I'm concerned, anyone who even considers a murder to murder another human being, they get to be mentally disturbed or mentally ill. Yes, I would agree, but they're not clinically insane, or they're not clinically impaired just because they're off and they're more on the evil side and their brain doesn't, kind of goes in one direction. That's more like personality type disorders. Insane is like she couldn't have made a conscious decision. She wouldn't have known the difference basically between right and wrong at the time that this kind of happened.
Yep. I would love if CW was able to get to that. That would be amazing.
No public during jury selection. Right. So after, and do you know if they're going to start early? So say they actually, because jury selection starts on March 20th. if they actually get a jury seated before April 3rd, will they just start the trial, or are they going to wait until April 3rd regardless of when they seat a jury? It's actually difficult to even get a person inpatient treatment. But yeah, because there's a lot of mental illness, but that clinically insane it's a different level.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Smiley. Oh, thank you. Happy you're here. Yeah.
I know that Dad with a Phone actually went to her, I think her very first hearing or her arraignment. I don't remember. He went to one of them like right off the bat. I remember him sitting in the courtroom. Okay. All right. So we'll get to going through this, and then our guests can come whenever they are able to. So they're hopefully taking care of lots of good things. Crime Curious says, I don't think so. I think they will wait until 4/3, mostly for family who are coming from out of state. Oh, that's a good point. Is it Valo? You have to sign up for a pass beginning at 12:01 each day. STS has show with 2 ladies talking about it. One lady moved there expecting to cover, but she's not guaranteed a pass. That is probably Valo. I know that the Judge Boyce had said that he was going to create like a separate room where people could view it. And when Barry Morphew was going to trial in Colorado, they actually set up like a projector thing, like at like a park and recreations place. So you talked to DWAP on Messenger today? I saw him at the 9/15/22 hearing.
Oh.
You talked to him today? Is he gonna cover anything? Did he say?
That's so cool. He's sticking to
Not
the
a
case.
curiosity, because it is something that he did. I mean, he was very deep into at the time, and it was close to home for him. Hi, Smiley. All right, we'll get this party started. And if we have to split this into 2, we'll split it into 2 because there is a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to cover it.
Oh.
Interesting. It's like 6,000 to watch.
Ooh.
Valo's like 6,000 to watch, like to go to it.
Oh. DWAP's doing dog training now, type stuff.
That's interesting because you know who else went to dog training or dog breeding? Was Nate, the next door neighbor of Shanann and Chris Watts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do I think she should be placed as incompetent? I think she has mental illness, but I think she knew what she was doing. So she was already deemed competent, so she can stand trial. They already did that one. So the sanity defense would basically be that she's not guilty by reason of insanity, that she was insane whenever the acts occurred. I was actually very curious about whether she was going to be able to do this or not, because as we know, there, and if you don't know the case, you'll hear it through when we get to that part in the timeline, but she definitely wasn't acting in what I would consider in the right mind. But was she far enough gone that she was insane? And then that begs the question, when did that switch happen? And would Al have known and been okay leaving his children with her, knowing she was totally different than she normally was? Hi, Mal. Oh, I gotta call. Yeah, and Lori tried to do the incompetency. She was deemed competent. She actually was deemed incompetent for a while. And that's a whole nother type of crazy. So imagine having to put like all these types of crazy into like categories. So they're like a crazy spectrum. And it's like, once you hit the red and it's like veering off to the to the far right, you're totally gone. Okay, so Michelle, I'm gonna let you You can take over for your beautiful presentation, and look at this. He's such a gorgeous little man. I love his little gap in his teeth because they hadn't all come together yet, you know?
His little
He's
hat.
just a freaking cute kid. And that's what just gets me. I'm like, these kids are so damn cute.
He's that 11-year-old that just...
Well, there's a lot of speculation about Al leaving and whether he had to have left at that particular moment. That's a whole nother story, though, and I'm definitely not going to say anything bad about Al, but he did. He had an early flight the next day, but I just mean if she was so far like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, he had some choices that he could have gotten some childcare or, you know, even sent the kids back to their moms before he left.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I say I don't know if she would be able to do insanity, because something's going to have to. I don't know. We're going to have to see what the report shows. And I guess they have till 5 o'clock Mountain Time tomorrow to turn it in. Otherwise, the judge was like, we're just going to throw it out. We're just not going to use it at all. Okay. And then their whole defense is going to have to switch pretty last minute.
And she's got it mapped out. And she's got this defense in her mind anyway, mapped out. And even if it deviates just a little bit, it's going to be this. I have a feeling she's going to show her whole, you know what, during this trial. She's going to act out in every way possible.
I'm wondering how much she's going to fight even going to court, because you know how many times just in her court hearings that she's like, nope, I'm not going.
And you heard what the judge said. The judge already put the order down. I don't care. Pick her up, put her ass in that van and get her here. Don't care. Get here.
I said I worked a case where the defendant was found insane, and it was a lot of work for the defense. It doesn't help unless it's the real deal. I agree. I absolutely agree, because you're going to have to convince this jury that that's why this person would do these absolutely absurd things. But on the other hand, a lot of people do think like, hey, to do something like this, you have to be insane, like we were talking about a little earlier. So it may help, but I don't know if they're going to be able to deem her, you know, insane for her to be able to use the defense is kind of my thought. Hi, BT Mom. Yes, this case has been going on way too long. I'm so happy that they're finally getting to go to court and the family's going to get some justice and
3 years now, right?
See this thing through. Hi, Tiffany. Yeah. Okay. This is the presentation portion, except for I just keep talking.
CDT, how are you, babe?
Hi,
Check out CDT's live. She did an amazing job. I caught half of the first one, but I believe there's 2 now.
She has done a great job.
She has. And I believe Amber's covering some more Murdoch too. And I've been now jumped on Murdoch after everything. But okay, so guys want any of that?
I agree, CDT. Okay, I'm gonna let you take it away. You tell me what to do.
Oh, hold on. All right, wait. Let me just pull it up real fast too, so I can see on my end. I don't think I have it in any particular order, but it's just a little insight on Gannon's life here. T, why don't you go to the next slide? Okay. So there's little Gannon right there, 11 years old. There's Al to your left, his biological father, Landon, his biological mother to your right. Gannon also has a little sister that is from Albert and Landon that also lived with Gannon, Letitia, Al, and Letitia's daughter, Harley. I just kind of put in there their little relationship over there with Landon, and then when he married Letitia, just for a little info's sake. And sorry, guys, it's my computer. It's kind of crazy. So Gannon, you know, move to slide 3, please. I keep clicking it like it's on my side. Like I went to read it. I'm like, oh no, don't do that. There's Gannon. There's our little Gannon, 11 years old. At the time of his death, he was kind and caring. He was so thoughtful, so thoughtful. All of his friends, teachers, family members all said the same exact thing. He was always thinking of the next person. He was always curious about the person's feelings. If a person was just sitting off in a room and just staring off somewhere, Gannon was known to be the first child or the first person to run up and make sure that that person was okay. And I think that says so much about an 11-year-old boy. So much. He just had such a kind heart for being such a little child. Also known as G-Man. He loved to play video games. He loved to play Sonic the Hedgehog. That was his favorite game. He scored pretty high on that. There was something like, it was a contest type of deal that he would do with his friends on his free time. Gannon was in 5th grade, at Grand Mellon School in El Paso County. He lived with his father, Al, and his stepmother, Tisha, Lorson Ranch area of Colorado Springs. Beautiful home, great school systems, great neighborhoods, great neighbors, and he had plenty of children to play with. He was very much known in his little neighborhood there. He was just known for being a happy-go-lucky little boy. So Al and Landon shared custody of Gannon. Letitia and Al would keep Gannon for the school year, and then Landon and her parents would get him in the summertime. He would also, in between times, would go to Landon's mother's house as well if Al and Letitia had to do something or whatnot. Letitia's mom was known to help out with Gannon. And
yeah, one of our guests showed up. Lovely Jenn Lewis here.
Here she goes.
Hi, I just have a question about this, the custody arrangement.
sure.
Was this custody arrangement in place when Leticia and Al got together?
No.
This was
Okay.
after.
So it changed.
Yes.
So Landon had Gannon when Leticia and Al first got together.
I think there was always a little something with Landon's custody issue, because I
Okay.
know her mother played a big role as far as like the mother had the first year or so, I believe the mother still had to be in play if Gannon was going to be with the biological mother. I haven't
Okay.
confirmed that document wise, but from
When they got together,
Mhm.
the reason I'm asking is because of the comments that Letitia's made. We've all heard them, or well, I know you're about to probably get into those. And I was just curious if this was always the situation, so she knew what she was getting into, and now she's just being like,
Mhm.
that way. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or
There was always a
call.
competition. So Landon and Al were married and they had their 2 kids.
Mhm.
And Letitia and Landon were actually friends. And Letitia and Al started hooking up.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot. There's definitely a lot of history there. So
Does Gannon look like Landon? Does he look like his mother?
I think that he has a good mix of both of them.
Yeah.
In my
Okay.
opinion, because I mean, there's Al and there's Landon. He's got Landon's nose and but he's got like his dad's like smaller mouth. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
what
I
I
don't
meant.
know. He's a good mix to me. He's got her darker eyes though.
I was just wondering if how they were used to be friends or whatever. If perhaps the reason that that Gannon was targeted is because that's what it feels like. That
I
maybe
know
she did that.
She kept a decent relationship, it seemed, with Landon's parents, and then even it seemed like almost with Landon up until a certain point, but you never know those feelings on the inside of
Right. Like,
those
did
Google
she
searches of it.
maybe she had a resentment towards Gannon because he looked like his mom or reminded her of his mom, which is terrible and it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I was just curious.
also,
Okay, now I'll be quiet.
No, you're fine. A
I
lot of
think
people
that is
think that
tough.
he actually looks like his dad, but it could still go to your point, because if he did remind her of his dad, she was really mad at his dad when all of this happened. And hi, beautiful Alex Erickson. Thank you for joining us.
You being here, babe.
Hey, Allie.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me.
That's right, Crime Curious. That is right.
I already know this is going to be so well done. Just seeing this first slide I'm seeing with both the parents showing. Yeah, I know.
Allie
you
and
did
I
great,
have
Michelle.
literally talked to Gannon, I think since Allie and I very first talked.
Yeah,
so
we
excited.
have.
No, and Allie was coming up for this, and then we got Jen too, and I was like,
I
oh, this is gonna be a
know.
good one.
Yeah, and
Gang's
Gang's all here.
Gang's
Gang's
all
all
seems
here.
like it took
Mallory's in
freaking
chat.
forever to come around. You know.
It did. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 very long years for this little boy.
A little bit more, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you're right. Actually, nope, you're right.
So
I'm glad that he's finally getting justice or a step
know.
towards justice.
It's definitely time.
So I'll
Definitely.
back it up just a little bit so to kind of fill in a little bit of the backstory. So Letitia was married to another gentleman who passed away, and she had a daughter named Harley, and Harley plays a very big role in all of this. So her name will come up a lot. Somebody asked earlier about Harley, and I do know that Harley does a lot of Instagram, TikTok type of social media. And she recently actually went out of the country on a vacation. So, but she is on the witness list to come to testify. So, and I do think that she's going to play a very big role in what we find out come trial.
I do too. Yes. I do too. I can't wait to see. I hope if she's on the list, does that mean she will testify, or they just possibly might call?
They can call her, but yeah, she's on the list. But so is Gannon's little sister, Lena. Yeah. So there was some accusations from Letitia and Al that Landon and her husband were drug users. And so that's why she has a lot of animosity towards her, basically saying that Landon was a piece of crap mom. Well, Landon got clean later in life. And as we all know, I mean, I think every one of us here has some type of story when it comes to addiction. And Allie and I have talked about this a lot. I have family members that were addicts. That doesn't mean they were bad parents. And that's how I feel about that. So.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll say this about being on a witness list. South Carolina is the only, and this was just, it doesn't mean they do it in every case, but this is how that judge runs his courtroom. And it's also based on what's asked. But frequently, most often, people are put on a witness list because they can't be talked to. It's an effort for them not to be contacted by, once they've given their statements, their depositions and whatnot, then like if Harley and Gannon's little sister are on the state's witness list, then they cannot talk about their testimony at all. It's a way of keeping witnesses from potentially being harassed. And not, they can't be taught. I'm not talking about like by people like the general public. I'm talking about people that are involved in the trial, involved in the case. It's a way to keep whatever it is that they're going to testify to only heard in the courtroom, and nobody can, come at them. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me.
That's usually why they do it.
I want to say just real quick, something you guys were talking about when I was backstage. Jen said, so Teresa, you were talking about like, just about who he looked like and stuff like that. And Jen was saying, she kind of thought she did this like to get back at Landon. I've always kind of thought that in a way, because, I really do. I just think it's not only that, but I think that's part of it.
Oh, definitely part of it for sure. I totally.
Which is weird because if you think about it, if her goal was to get Al, she won. So why would she then be mad at Landon? She got the. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand competition over men because I just don't understand it.
Well, I think it's just like hate and resentment because she didn't like her, more so is what I think. But also, if you guys remember, after when Letitia started acting crazy, Landon came out there and was staying in the house, and she was like, now this woman's now she's in the house.
Oh, that's right.
That's how
that's right.
She saw Gannon that way, in my opinion. She saw Gannon as almost, in my opinion, the younger sister she was so young that in Letitia's mind, in my opinion, she could put the little one in their equation. But Gannon being 11, figuring out her shit and her craziness.
He knew who his mom was, and he was going to be loyal to his mom.
Yep. Yeah. And he probably got to a point where he got sick of her mistreatment. I'll keep it nice. And probably started to spew back, and she went to, I don't even want to use the word too far because she did what she did, but.
Or talked, or he told people,
Like
Told his dad, told his
it's-
mom.
made her feel very, very unappreciated. And somewhere along the line, Al must have agreed with his son and his son's feelings, or validated them in some way, shape, or form, because she was feeling like she wasn't being heard, or, you know, this was getting too hard and all that stepmom mess.
Yeah.
But-
Oh, like her from her Google searches and stuff, that you can definitely see she was very frustrated with her situation.
And Gannon's old enough to take the right information back to his mom and tell the story in the right way. And Landon
He
would
would
very
be-
much know.
Gannon was at that age where he could testify, and that's all I'll say.
yeah.
Yep. He could say it all, and
So-
he would be believed.
So Landon and Al had shared custody anyway, but then when Landon got pregnant with her youngest daughter, she was hospitalized. So there was kind of this whole like, well, you know, they'd have more of a stable, you know, life. They'd be able to, you know, go to school. They'd, you know, have their friends and, you know, the insurance and everything else. So they lived with Al and Letitia in Colorado so that they would have more the stability, because obviously going back and forth between South Carolina and Colorado wasn't going to work for school age kids. So she left them there because they had already built their life. So people were like, you know, well, why didn't she get them back after she had the baby? And it's like, well, they already had their friends and they were set. She had them over Christmas break. She had them over spring break. She had them over summer vacations. You know, Gannon had a phone, so he talked to his mom, you know, whenever they wanted to talk to each other.
And there's that phone. And that
So
was
I
it,
mean,
you
I
know.
think that people gave Landon a lot of crap.
Yeah, it feels like she actually made a sacrifice. The selfish thing to do would have been to collect them and rip them away from all of their friends and what they had known.
His life,
And
built
that's
for him.
hard for kids when they're in school like that, you know?
But
Well,
yeah,
remove
I
them
agree.
from
I hated that she got so much crap, but a lot of people did. They went after Landon hard, and she just was like, you know what? I don't care. And, you know, I did the best for my kids, and I tried, and I love my kids, and I don't really care what any of you have to say. And she was like, so everybody in the family was like all over social media right off the bat. And it was kind of chaotic because you're in like these Facebook groups where typically family, you know, they make, you know, one may come in, but you had all of them. You had Landon, you had Landon's husband, they were actually separated at the time. You had you had T's sisters, you had T's mom. It was like chaos, and like the fighting was like happening like on social media. And I don't think a lot of people knew at the time, but most of it was happening because Landon actually, when she flew out, when Gannon Gannon went missing. For anybody who doesn't know, Gannon was reported missing on January 27th, 2020. So it is a little over 3 years. Landon flew out from South Carolina, and Landon was actually staying in the house, and Letitia was not staying in the house. So January 27th was the last night that Letitia ever stayed in that house. So then there was this pure chaos because now this person who she had all, you know, a lot of animosity towards was living in her home with her husband, and she was put out.
and she was not happy.
No.
She was not happy. So then it just turns to pure chaos all over social media. And then when we later on, which we'll get to, when we get like the probable cause affidavit for her arrest and stuff, we learned that it was even worse.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, she said she got kicked out. She said she was told she couldn't sleep there.
Well, apparently her stories weren't adding up, and now the neighbor came forward and showed that she has him on camera leaving that day. He doesn't come back and jump out of the truck like she does, or he appears not to. So, yeah, I think Al was questioning her, and I don't think that she has a reason and excuse for everything, but eventually she gets cornered and she just makes a fool out of herself, and you can tell she's lying. And I think that he knew it and was calling her on it, and that's why she couldn't be there. That's my opinion.
Right.
I feel like if you are the prime suspect in the unaliving of anybody, but particularly a child, you being kicked out and not allowed to sleep under the same roof would be the nicest thing I could do to you. If it were me, if it were my child, me telling you you can't sleep here anymore is the nicest thing I could do to you.
Right, Jen. Yep.
Yeah, that's in your best interest.
Yeah, literally.
Correct. You
Literally.
don't want to be alone with me. We don't need to be unsupervised.
So
Like,
there's just so much crazy to this case. It's like it's so hard to try to tell a story when there's just so much to it.
There is.
Charlie
you're
says
doing a good job.
we could go through some of those videos again too. And Tiffany said, like, I don't give Al a free pass. And this is where the struggle is, because it's like you have that line where you can't victim blame, but there's a hardship. And I mean, Landon's a stronger woman than I am. I'll be very honest, because she immediately was like there with Al, and they were like, you know, tight as, you know, as tight and doing everything together. And I'm thinking, like, if my ex-husband, which I don't have one, let my kid stay with this crazy lady and something crazy happens, I'm going to be mad. Yes, I know it's not his fault. But then as things start to unravel and it does come out that there was some infidelities and things like that, that Letitia's quote unquote crazy and all of these Google searches actually had some relevance, because she was thinking, like I said, we'll get to all that too, but she was doing these weird Google searches about her husband not loving her and stuff. And it came to fruition that there was some weird things happening, that he wasn't being very honest. So she wasn't necessarily wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. It's now see with Al, I'm not the same with you, T. I don't want to victim blame, and so I'm very careful with that. I think he is a victim, and look, he may have been a bad husband, but he didn't kill a kid. That's kind of where
Right.
I'm at with that, because yeah. So
it's you have
but
you have
Al
to
got a
kind of,
lot. Sorry.
no, you're good. Yo,
I
keep
just
going. I got you.
Do you remember? Didn't he get accused of like even being involved in this? And like there was a
Yes.
lot of really bad accusations. I thought so. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel
Night,
bad for
Seth.
him,
Go
you
get some
know.
sleep.
Good night, Seth.
Okay, so we'll keep going.
Okay.
So I'll let Michelle take over this one, but Letitia,
Right.
this is the whole history. She has a whole history of not telling the truth about things. So the Riddler, the trial is jury selection is March 20th. The trial is set to start on April 3rd. Hi, Alicia, and hi, Lori. And go ahead, Michelle.
Yes. Oh, and Alicia, I like the way Alicia worded Al's pattern, because he does have a pattern of cheating for sure. But back to Letitia. Who is Letitia Stauch? Stauch. Am I even saying that right anymore today? Ooh.
Stauch. I think we all said it wrong for a long, long time. Hi, water loving dog. It's
Yeah.
Stauch.
And I've been on the West Boys so much. I'm like, wait, Michelle, don't slip up and say any West Boy case stuff. Stick to Gannon.
So funny, because I've been listening to all the Vallow stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, was that judge or was it this judge? Too many happened at the same time.
Wait,
where'd Jen go?
Oh yeah, where did she go? Jen Lou, where are you? Back in, I got a little bit on Letitia. She was an honor student growing up. She played softball. She played basketball. She was known actually for keeping her cool on the court. Even during some of her crazy softball games, she was known for being a heavy hitter, but she basically took everything on the chin, moved on, and, got to play another day. Until she gets up into, I believe, her junior and senior year of high school, and a couple things behavioral wise happened, and I believe she crashes a driver's ed car, and she kind of starts to take her little downfall. It seems like right around there. You don't see her on the honors list anymore. You don't see her active as much in her sports and things like that. I mean, she was mentioned in her city paper almost every month of every year from the time she was in kindergarten all the way up until her sophomore year, for being on the honor roll and great things about her. Second here. So yeah, so there are two police reports. One, she had gotten into a fight and had stole a car. She had a boyfriend in high school who said she was very, very strange, and he did not want to talk about her. He barely wanted to remember her. She had a small group of friends. She was known to be somewhat quiet with everyone else but that group of friends. One friend in particular, she was really, really close to. And let's see.
Well, and did you talk about like she worked for that school district and she ended up getting fired, and then she would lie about being employed and she didn't actually work.
Right. Well, she in high school, she had called in a bomb threat. That's what I'm saying. By her junior year, it just seems like she went from honor roll student, calm, cool, collected Letitia, and then somewhere along the line around that time frame, little mischievous Letitia came out to play. And then we get to where the slide is now.
Oh, I thought we were already here. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No. Okay. No, I went back to my notes and shouldn't have, and that was a bad idea. That'll throw me right off.
It's all right. I don't know how to work StreamYard.
Oh, good. Both of us.
Okay. We lost Ben, then we lost Allie. So
And there's Allie.
we're all back now.
Sorry,
We're all here.
I don't know what the heck happened. I looked down and StreamYard was like something, please try again. It was like just a different, I guess the internet disconnected for a sec.
That's weird.
Oh, over here.
So
No sound.
she faked a pregnancy with her ex-boyfriend. She also faked a pregnancy during the time that Gannon was missing.
Wait,
So she's
what?
got
I
a
didn't know
history
that.
of faking pregnancies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Now-
one? About her ex-boyfriend or the one with
Neither.
with Al?
I didn't know neither.
Any of them, all of them. I didn't know that either.
I think I have the screenshots where she's talking to her friend, telling her about the test coming up positive. And
Rooster
they're like,
digs
"Are you
in a
going
whole
to tell
nother
Al?"
way.
And she's like, "I'm not telling anything yet. I don't know exactly. I'm not saying it verbatim, but yeah." So then that friend, quote unquote, puts them out on social media for everybody to see. So
Wow.
Wow.
Don't know how I
I
missed
know
that, but
y'all
yeah,
would not
totally.
be that friend. I know if that were me, and God forbid, I know y'all wouldn't be out at. We got DMs with Jen Lou.
Never.
She faked a pregnancy.
things can happen.
No
She told
way.
the stupidest joke. You want to hear it? Here it is. Put that shit on Murderbilia. Make you some money.
Murderbilia.
Yeah.
Murderbilia.
That's a murderbilia. Yeah, she won a sexual harassment lawsuit at one point against the assistant principal at one of the school jobs.
Get out of here, Crime Curious. Oh, wow. You know what? Maybe it in the paper when her grandfather passed away, they have Letitia down as his daughter. But we didn't see anything as far as her actual father, her biological father. If you know anything about that, drop that in the comments, please. I tried to find something, but there was nothing after that.
She's all, I have receipts.
I
You have
receipts.
receipts for everything, Crime Curious. What are you talking about?
We live for receipts over here.
Yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
when everything came out about like her family and kind of the area she was from and how rough it was and stuff like that? Like she's kind of a product of the environment as well.
Yeah.
She
That's
comes
what
from a rough-
the one friend in her high school group, the one that she was supposedly really, really close to, that was kind of, I guess, where they had parted ways, because she said that Letitia's, she felt like Letitia was bringing where they were from into what they were doing now. And that wasn't, when she speaks in Facebook groups, she just kind of says, Letitia's attitude started to remind me of our childhood, and I was trying to grow and go a different direction
wow.
in life.
Oh.
And she said she really picked up her tone during the initial interview when she's speaking to Harley, the way she speaks to Harley in the interview. And I pulled that up too. I'll show you that later, but
Interesting.
I kind of see what she's saying. It's in her tone.
Just FYI, I have to go help a tiny human real quick. Do you want me to leave this one up, or do you want me to switch to the next one before I go?
Go to the next one.
Okay, give me one sec.
A tiny human.
A tiny
Yeah.
human.
My
tiny
tiniest human.
Now this kind of jumps a little bit, but just to
I'll be
get
right
us
back.
off so much Letitia, and let T do her thing.
Now, wasn't that at their house, at their subdivision? Those lights right there. They'll just pray for Gannon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they
I remember
all,
that.
even today, they have lights still blue. That neighborhood still very much stands for Gannon, and it's actually a really beautiful thing to see. That even after all these years,
Aw.
just because they left and all that, they still very much hold Gannon close to them.
I wish I
They're
had
awesome.
a blue porch light
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever. I've really thought about getting a little blue heart tattoo because this case like touched me so much. I was like, just a little teeny tiny heart, a blue one, and nobody would really know what it is, but you know what I mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
You have the best heart, Allie.
She does, doesn't she? She has this kindest heart too. She's such a gentle soul,
Aw.
Allie. She really is.
Thank you guys. So do you guys.
Mhm. It's. I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. Her charges. Oh my God. And then what do they call? Oh, Jen, you just said it the other day. What is it? Because you had to remind me in my chat. Like when you have a charge and then the extra, like
Oh, special circumstances.
yes. And she has several. She has like the fact she was the caregiver. The weapons used. Like there, I think like 5 or 6.
Thank you, Muffy. You're so sweet. Yeah,
Muffy.
they do love to give some special circumstances. See, Texas is different now, because when George Bush was the governor, he made it an automatic capital punishment and a capital offense to unalive a child under 12. And you do not need the like aggravated circumstance of, say, kidnapping, because sometimes kidnapping isn't part of it. Usually a special circumstance is you commit the felony of unaliving while committing another felony, and that will escalate it to be a death penalty case. But in Texas,
Okay.
you don't need that you don't need to commit a felony while committing another felony if the unaliving is of a child under 12 or under.
Very good, Jen.
Okay.
So that's
it's
so
tough
now
where
with
every state is different.
Athena, is it Athena Brown? Wasn't
Oh,
that? Yes.
Mhm.
So he will likely be whatever his charges end up being, he'll be eligible. He'll be death penalty eligible. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He should be, I think. But
He
that's
should
just
be.
me. But you know what?
He should. No, I
The
agree
death
with you.
penalty-
He should be.
Yeah. But it's tough because look, I have no sympathy for them. I want them to have as tough as they can, however that looks, because I think a life in prison would be really tough too. But my issue, it's very expensive. The death penalty, it's like way more.
It is very
than how,
expensive.
like their life in prison. So it's
Well, yeah,
weird. I
'cause
don't know.
They get automatic appeals, right? And that's on the state's dime.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
it is more expensive to keep them alive. But yeah. I don't know how I go back and forth on like sometimes I support the justice system and I understand the use of the death penalty. There's part of me that feels like they are afforded something that their victims weren't, which is to know when they're going to die, and they're allowed to make peace if they have things they need to get off their chest and whatnot, and they have an opportunity to say goodbye to their loved ones where their victims did not. And that's one of my biggest reasons why I don't. Sometimes I think but there are some cases where I'm just like, you just don't ever, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, Jen,
People that harm children, there's just something, you can't fix those people.
I agree. I totally agree.
Me too.
It's at that point you don't have any humanity is not even the word, but if you can take the soul of a vulnerable, completely defenseless, what could a child have ever done that?
Right.
Horrific? It's one of those crimes that just it beyond does not make any sense. But there is no forgiveness there. There's no second, none of that in my opinion.
And it's not like we're all four of 1, 2, 3, 4. All four of us up here are sitting up here coming from a place where we don't have children. Yeah. Like we know my kids put me through a gang of shit. Mm-hmm. Okay. But nothing they ever did ever made me even I never could get, I don't understand how it's even a thought in somebody's brain. And I mean, like, even just where they go so overboard with discipline, like that, I
Yeah.
can't understand that either.
Mm-hmm. How do you
Me
go so
either.
far to see your child hurt so bad?
Right,
And it's
exactly.
from your own hands. That's hard.
Exactly. That's what I don't,
No,
I
me
don't, I will
neither.
never understand it. I will never understand it.
Well, it's just like when you hear about, well, my God, I'll never forget hearing about Gannon's defense wounds. He put up quite a fight. He had a lot of them on his hands.
Yes.
But it makes me think of Harmony. Like, remember how Adam said he banged her head around the house? Like, he told someone that was the
The
verbiage
uncle,
he used.
Uncle Kev. Yep.
Yeah. How are you going to say that about a baby and just like it's a, banged her head around the house? What the hell does, I don't know. Excuse my
Right. He
language, but
tells that
it's
story with
crazy.
the same level of, and I mean, I think I might have been more passionate than that Uber Eats brought me Taco Bell but didn't bring me Taco Bell sauce, even though they asked for it if I wanted it. And I did say yes. You know, I have more
Exactly.
like passion and about that. I had more feeling about that than, you know, he did about I just can't, I'll never be able to understand that.
Oh, thanks, Gail.
Yeah.
Welcome. Oh, same. My son,
Ooh, I
he
love
is my
that background.
stepson, but he is my son. I've raised him since he was 1.5, 2 years old. He's been in
Aw.
my life. A few years later, we had a child together. Our children know no different. My son is my son. My daughter is my daughter. I could never look at my son and see any of the past, any negative, anything, but just being that extra love in my life that I wouldn't have had if he wasn't, you know.
Yeah,
And
I will just never, I don't understand it. I don't
everything,
understand these people.
I don't. And I feel like her whole thing with Gannon was he took up too much attention and time. And I just cannot understand her whole, I
Well,
don't
not to be
understand her
nosy.
heart when it came to Gannon. She just did not love. I'm sorry, she did not love that child. And how could you not? How could you love Al and not
I
love
don't
you?
understand that.
I will never understand that. And how do you not know
Well,
that you're taking
Michelle,
this on and you're sharing the love? That's the point.
with
You're making a
yours,
family. You know, you
with
share the
yours,
love.
like, was his mom in the picture, or because
Yeah,
I wonder if
she
that. Okay.
no, she was in the picture. She had some issues back then. She actually had a lot of issues back then, and it came to a point where it, you know, he was better off with me. He was better off with us, with the intentions of
Right.
he will always be in your world. You will always be mom number one, even though over time I have now morphed into mom and she has kind of taken a backseat in a sense, but they've somewhat gotten to
Right.
work on their relationship and they're working on trying to be friends, start there
Aw,
first.
that's
And,
good.
but I had to woman up at a certain point and understand that whatever mess that she might have been because she was upset with me and our family or whatever, I had to understand my place in this. And I had to also stay in my lane. And that wasn't easy. I was 19
Yeah.
years old, but the
Uh,
love of him made me want that. And then there came a point I had to go visit her and have a conversation with her to make her understand how much her son loves her. And in return, how much, as crazy as this sounds, I love her. And I don't want to see anything happen to her. And there's not a day I see him and I do see her, but there isn't hate. It makes me actually love her and care about her in a crazy way, you know?
Right.
Because she's part of him.
Yeah, like, and
Yeah.
when I look at him, I do see her and I see her and I do see him. And yeah, he's very much mine, but I want him to have her, just like I want him to have all of us, you know, he deserves that. And
Yeah.
if
You want
anything,
him to have all the love he can get.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with having two moms or a bonus baby or a bonus
No.
mom or whatever. You just got to work it together. And it's not easy. It's not. There's a lot of
No,
hard
it's
feelings.
not.
Extra love.
There's a lot of asshole ways involved. You just have to do what's right for the child. Every child involved, even my daughter at that time. I did not want my children to know any different. I never wanted them to not understand that you are brother and sister and you are one. We are a unit here. And that
Yeah.
this is how we
Yeah.
move. And if mommy wants to
That's
come
so
in,
sweet,
not a
though.
problem. His other family, his grandparents, always made it a point, holidays, things like that, to look each other in the face, give each other gifts. We just tried. You know, it wasn't perfect all the time, but we tried. And that's just kind of where we are. And the second this case came
sweet.
about, I felt that way about Letitia. And it plays out in this interview right here.
Yeah.
You guys want to listen to this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, you have to let me know if you can hear it.
Mother.
You've been a part of.
Sounds really light on my end.
It's a little low and echoey, babe.
Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20 some death threats already. Two, my husband's ex-wife is living in our home. And of course, I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation, I was told I wasn't complying. And can I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time. Correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives. And so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives. They're supposed to twist. The one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things. So I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have. And see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around.
I have a question.
I didn't want to expose my family to it.
Okie dokie.
How come Dr. Letitia needed help with vocabulary words?
Okay, so I don't know how much you guys covered when I wasn't here, so I'm going to back up just a minute.
I didn't even
We didn't
touch the
cover
timeline
anything.
yet.
We
didn't
waited
touch
for
nothing.
you.
We did.
We didn't even cover the
I didn't wanna
case.
touch
We
the
were
timeline
talking
yet.
about not understanding how parents do this.
Yep.
We waited
okay.
for you.
So the night, January 28th, which is the next day, right? So that by that night, she's already telling the investigators, she's text messaging the investigators, talking about, like, what do you want from me? I don't have anything to give you. You know, you guys don't understand how hard it is to be a step parent. And she's accusing the cops of having a leak. She's like, the El Paso Blue is, you know, I have friends and and they're telling me what you guys are saying, and you won't let my daughter leave, or you know, you're keeping a young girl in the house and you won't let her leave. Because remember, she doesn't stay at the house on January 28th. But Harley is still there at this moment in time. And so she's texting, like, my daughter can't have any food and like crazy stuff. She texts them up until like 2:30 in the morning going into the 29th. The officers respond with simply, just come and talk to us so we can figure out what happened to Gannon. It's like, just come in and meet with us. And she's going on these huge rampages of just like crazy, you know, you guys don't get it, this, that, and the other. So she says she's going to go meet them. Hi, Jordan. She says she's going to go meet them on the 29th. She's supposed to be there. I think it's like at 10 a.m. Don't quote me because I don't have the timeline up. She's supposed to be there at like 10 a.m. She doesn't show up until like noon. And when she gets there, her Volkswagen is freshly washed. It's like all super clean. And she shows up, and when she goes in, this is when everything changes. She tells the officers that Gannon had knocked over this candle on Sunday night, and that Gannon was scared he was going to get in trouble by Al, and she was doing whatever she could to have it fixed before Al ever came home so that Gannon wouldn't be so scared. So there was construction down the street, so she drives down the street and she meets this guy named Eduardo, and she says, if you can come, I'll pay you, come and fix the carpet, so on and so forth, because of this candle wax had supposedly burned this carpet and the couch, and it was a disaster. So she's telling the cops this on the 29th. And she says when Eduardo got there on Monday to fix the carpet, he ended up R-ing her in front of Gannon.
Yeah.
And I mean, the story just becomes hugely elaborate, and then it's like and penetrating her in places, and then it ends up where he also essays Gannon, and then takes Gannon with him.
Well, remember, because Gannon supposedly jumps on the man's back to defend Letitia.
Yeah,
and
I was about to
he's
say
hurt.
one point.
Right, and there's where the
And this is all
blood.
At one
happening in
point,
Gannon's
Gannon's
room,
the
supposedly.
savior.
Right, and then she also sends the little sister because, mind you, Harley drops the baby, the littler sister off at this point, and she sends the little sister
Off the
outside
bus.
to ride a bike. Yep.
No, she gets off the bus, and
Yep.
so supposedly
Oh.
Eduardo lets her go upstairs to tell Lena to go outside and play. And then when she comes back down, he continues to R her. So she's telling the cops all of this on the 29th, and they're like, well, would you, we could probably get DNA and this, that, and the other. And she's like, no, I'm not being checked. And they're like, well, we kind of, need you to be checked or whatever. And she's like, nope, I don't want anything to do with it. But he's the one who has Gannon. So now the story by the 29th has already now changed to he ran away from home. He was supposed to play with his friends, runs away from home. And now, nope, he was taken by Eduardo. Then she wants to leave. So they're like, well, we need you to stay because we need, your phone. And they're at this moment, they're getting all their warrants together. And I don't know the timeline on when they got each warrant because I have that in the timeline. But basically, they're getting warrants together. And she takes a bunch of tissues and shoves them in her pants, in her vajayjay. Yes, in her vajayjay. She sticks a bunch of tissues down her pants. I don't know if she thinks that's gonna like she's gonna give him a sample. I don't know what she's thinking at this moment. But then she goes into like a panic attack where they have to actually call an ambulance to come and pick her up. So she goes to the hospital, but basically immediately checks herself out and they kept her phone. So she now has no phone, and she goes and calls somebody else who gets her to meet Harley somewhere else. So now this is when everything is about to go super crazy for her because she knows they're onto her. She knows her entire story has changed and nobody believes her. So she's got to get the hell out of Dodge. So what's happening when this interview comes up is she's talking crap about the cops because they didn't want her to leave because they wanted a sample so they could find Eduardo, who supposedly took Gannon. They kept her phone, which she did not like at all. And then so she's on her way out the door right now. She's packed, she's got her stuff packed up, the cars are ready to go. She's like heading out of town. So they also kept her Volkswagen. So she has no car, no phone, no nothing. So she has to go buy a new phone. She goes and rents a new car, unbeknownst to her, and oddly, how they don't have more information on exactly what happened with Gannon at this, later on. They actually put a tracker on this rental car. So she's being tracked everywhere she's going. So she's trying to convince the public, but she won't do this interview with her face on camera. So she specifically asked Spencer to make sure that her back is to the camera. She does not want her face shown at all.
Now, remember,
Well,
didn't
I
she
hate
say
to be the
also-
bearer of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Allie.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
All
I was going to say is.
Okay.
Go ahead. Now you go. Now, damn it, go. That's it. I'm not talking. You go.
Just real quick, that she also said Gannon was on drugs at one point. Remember?
She
Like
sure
that
did.
was the one. Like, that made me angry. Okay, that's all.
So right after this, it changes, and there is no Eduardo. And when everybody realizes there is no Eduardo, and I don't remember this dude's name, somebody in chat will. Crime Curious is here. I know she'll know. There was somebody on the news that was posted as like one of the top 10 most wanted guys, like criminals.
Oh, Quincy.
Was it Quincy?
Yeah.
And so she then starts to say that it was this guy who did it.
Yeah.
Instead of Eduardo. But same story, basically, but it was not Eduardo. It was now, and I'm almost positive Eduardo was supposedly Hispanic, and I think the guy that was on the news was black.
Yeah.
So
bless her.
everything just she keeps adding and adding and adding and adding. And
One
mind
of them
you,
was some.
she's still all over social media telling everybody that she's had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah. That's when that call gets
Did-
made. That was on the 16th.
Did she also say that like some guy that was doing construction on the house stopped she had the construction on the house, she had a story that someone like stopped in the middle of like put something in the road, and her and Gannon were on their way home and they had
That's
to stop
Quincy.
because it was okay.
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
yes. That
So
was, oh my gosh.
her
I know
stories are
This is when she supposedly took, okay, so I'm about to hop too far into the timeline, I know, but when they keep her car, they actually download all of the data from it. And what happens is they find out that she was in this particular area. And I won't go too far into it just because I know it's further in the timeline. But when she realizes that they know she was there, she comes up, this is when the second story comes out, or the third story technically. And it's that Gannon wanted to ride his bike around there. So they went there for Gannon to ride his bike. Mind you, Gannon stayed home from school sick that day. Mm-hmm. And she called out to work, and instead of saying, hey, my son is sick, I need to stay home with him, she calls out to work and actually tells her job that her stepdad was hit by a car and killed.
Yep. Knowing that was many, many years prior.
So the story evolves because as more information is being learned by the officers and the family, her story has to match all of these things. So when she finds out that they're searching in this particular area, she has to come up with a story. So what happens is now Gannon's riding his bike, and this Quincy guy comes out of nowhere and like carjacks them and takes them back to the house. And everything that she said happened with Eduardo was now with Quincy. And then Quincy took Gannon and the suitcase.
oh my dear Lord. Oh,
I don't have anything.
I think I've said goodnight to Seth like 6 times, but goodnight, Seth. I know you need to get some sleep.
Have a great night, Seth. And
Have a great night, Seth.
Get you some sleep. Replay crew.
Okay.
The only thing that I have to add about this whole situation, because I started then it went off in a different direction. I have comments about Eduardo, but I'm going to wait, and Quincy. But I just don't understand the purpose of having her back to the camera like this, because Letitia, I don't know if you're aware of this, but you didn't brush your hair this day. And this is not a good look for you, ma'am. In fact, you look kind of rough and dirty. So I don't know what you were trying to hide, but if it was that you didn't wash your hair, you failed, because I can totally tell you didn't wash your hair. And that's all I was going to say.
I don't think she wants anybody to be able to read her face.
Mm-hmm.
What she's got big old sunglasses on, nobody be able to read her face any damn way.
It's the words and the damn tone all up in this
interview. We don't need to see your face to know that you have attitude, ma'am. Mm-hmm. We can hear. We got ears.
Funky.
Okay, so I'll keep playing. You guys have anything else you want to say before we play?
Yeah, one more last thing.
Do it.
So this woman is out here with her 11 billion different Googles about what do you do if your child, about all the Googles she did, those crazy ass Googles, but she couldn't Google how to fix fucking carpet.
No, and nobody ever fixed the carpet. That's the other thing, is everything she says she did on Monday about fixing this carpet, going to the stores and getting Eduardo and everything. Nobody ever fixed the carpet. So when Landon was at the house, she has pictures of the carpet and the couch. Nothing's fixed whatsoever.
Was anything even wrong? Is there a burn spot at all? Okay.
The candle was knocked over. I have the pictures. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll pull them up real quick.
Because see, typically when a candle gets knocked over, there's not a burn. Usually because it's getting knocked over, the wax puts the candle out.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is go to the, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can either freeze it and try to pull it out, or you can get a piece of parchment paper and an iron and iron it, and it'll come up.
That's right.
Guess how I know? Google.
Iron.
So this candle is supposedly over here on this, and I have another picture that actually shows this white thing a lot better. Okay. But the candle's supposedly over here, and it gets knocked down. and it gets knocked onto the carpet and onto the couch, right? So then you have the one that I was just showing. So it's it's wax. There are no burns. So this is another thing, is one of the things she tells the cops as her stories is changing is that they had to leave because the house was filled with smoke. And what happened was that when she came back in and she was, after they aired it out and she was trying to get all this smoke for this fire, this candle started this huge fire basically. And there's so much smoke and they're coughing and everything else. And when she goes to pull everything off, she realizes that there's blood. Like somebody must have gotten hurt and there's blood on stuff. Well, there's not blood on stuff that has anything to do with the candle. So, and I don't know this for a fact, but I'll tell you my theory. I'm going to tell you my theory real quick and then we'll go back. My theory is he did something that she didn't like and she hurt him. Either maybe she hit him with a candle or he does accidentally knock over the candle and there's wax. But I particularly think that she hurts him and the candle is to cover up that, or he knocks over the candle and she hurts him. And because she's pissed off that he knocks over the candle because she's the one that's mad. Because now they're going to sell the couch and they're going to do all these things. They're going to sell his Nintendo Switch to raise money and everything else. So this is what I think happened. So I think that she hurts him, but what she does is she hurts him to the point where she knows that he's very, very injured.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think she threw that candle.
When the time progresses, she knows that he's like gravely injured. And so Monday she spends basically, and this sounds cold and I don't mean to sound cold, but I'm just going to tell you my theory. And it is cold because that's how I feel like she is. I think that she went and did all these quote unquote errands while he sat in the truck so that he would die.
Yeah.
Like she was waiting for him to die so she could dispose of him. When that doesn't work, she has to come up with other things. So that's when she takes him back to the house and ends up actually doing something to kill him, which I don't think actually kills him yet then either. So she has to go to the next level to kill him because she needs him to die.
Especially
because
by a
she
certain
can't
point.
go to the hospital and say that she physically hurt him.
Yep.
So obviously that is my theory, putting pieces together. That is, I have, just my inference from the things I've read and the things I've seen. I think at trial, we're obviously going to know a lot more, but I think that she hit him. She either hit him like with the candle and that's how it spills, or he knocks over the candle and she hits him. That I don't know that part.
Yeah.
Right.
I have to agree with you, Teresa. Yep.
I think that's where she went
why
overboard.
She says he's on drugs too. That's why she says he was on drugs too. Because what if that was part of, like, she was going into these buying the dog coats and stuff, waiting on him to die in the truck, basically.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or the car. Yeah,
The only thing that does, I mean, none of it. Look, we're trying to rationalize unaliving. You can't. It's an irrational act, and it can't be rationalized. But what I will say is this: the only detail that remains consistent through most of her stories is the candle.
Yep.
So the candle somehow, some way is integral to what happens.
Yep.
Exactly how, I don't know, but she does focus on that candle a lot.
Yes, she does.
And
those are tells.
we know there's wax all over, and we know it got on the carpet, and like you can see, like there's the wax burn, whatever pattern underneath the carpet, and you can see it on the couch. Other than that, so we know something happens with the candle, but there's actually, and I think I might have that picture too. The reason I think that it's possible she may have pushed him and
then he knocked the candle over.
That he hit his head on this white pillar. And I'll tell you what, as soon as when they were taking evidence from the house, and I think I have this picture, give me a second. They were taking evidence from the house and they took this. Hold on. You see this bag? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
This bag is literally, and it's on video as they're walking out, and this bag is literally the size of that white pillar.
Yep.
So, did she shove him into that pillar?
And he had a few gashes. That's the only reason why I pushed that candle issue, because if you think of what she did to actually end his life, because at that point she had to end it. The candle was that initial blowout of blood, if I'm saying that right, in my opinion. And then because let's say she is beating him, and I'm not saying a woman can't make a little child bleed. I hate to even think this route. I don't know. The candle being thrown in her rage, hitting his face, cutting him, and then it goes from there. It's just
And
how
Teresa's theory makes sense. Think about how there's so many methods of that could be manners of death. We have the stabbing, gunshot, blunt force trauma, like.
Yep.
So
she tried
yeah.
multiple
Oh
ways.
my God, what a
times.
sick BITCA.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's almost
So
like when
see,
the candle didn't work, the knife didn't, the knife to the gun. Like,
what do you think of no blood evidence in Al's truck? I'm stuck on that because I think that his injuries were internal. I don't think he was bleeding externally. I think he was bleeding internally.
Oh, God.
And
So I
if
don't
you
think
pay
there's any
attention
blood in
when he
his
walks
truck
out
because
to
I think she knew he was severely injured. But he was not bleeding. He was shot. He was stabbed. He was shot. There's a bunch of chart. He was everything. It's it's a lot of overkill.
It just seemed, it's just like she went to the next level each time, or however this went down. It just, oh goodness.
Yeah, and
I'll say this.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll remember.
No, go ahead.
Well, when he goes out to the truck that morning, if you watch the video, okay,
have
they're
that video.
getting in
I'll
the
pull that
truck
up, too.
and he drops something. Most kids, they bend over and pick it up. He does not.
can't.
He drops something and he just looks at it like all slow, and then she grabs it, hands it to him.
Yeah.
He was, and the neighbor said he seemed drugged. Like he seemed like he was drugged at the time.
He's probably wobbly. He's completely, I mean, and think if he can't bend, that's all, what, his stomach area, in the back area. Like, what in the world did she do to this baby? My God.
Well, to me, what it sounds like most likely is that he wasn't bleeding, which means, like Teresa said, it was all internal. He was hemorrhaging, but more than likely where he was hemorrhaging was in his brain.
Oh, goodness.
As well as other parts, because that would account for him stumbling, him not being able to pick to bend over and pick it up, mostly because his cognitive skills and motor skills would be affected.
Yep, you're right. He'd be really slow and kind of dazed out.
And that would make somebody who wasn't aware of, if he were covered in something, right? Then if he had blood on him, right, which is why that question was asked, why there was no blood in the car, and somebody saw him, and they did see him because they remarked about it, right? That explains he looked drugged.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if he were all, bless it, if he were all, like, if there were visible injuries, that would have raised it a red flag to whoever it was that saw, the neighbor that saw that, right? If you saw a kid all bruised up and battered, you would not just be like, oh, okay, he has a stomach ache. No, I mean, I would intervene. I don't care.
Wait, does Gannon have his hat on going to that truck? I've watched this. I can't believe I don't remember that.
Can't remember.
Okay, hold on real quick. I'll back it up.
I'm just curious.
So Gail, he was 11, same age as my son, and same age as Allie's son, because our sons are the same age. So I think that really drew us in. And then CDT asked a question. They did basically confirm that he did come home and he was killed in his bed after 2. So that's where my whole thought process comes, that she knew he was like mortally injured from whatever happened that night. And the next day she's waiting for him to pass and he doesn't. So she takes him back home to make it happen.
Right.
I know. I wonder how she got him inside, because he doesn't come immediately in. So I wonder when he comes in,
out the other way.
Okay.
He comes out the other side of the truck.
Okay, because I could not see it at all. But he had to come home, because think, even when like they get off the bus, like they have the exact movements from the security in the house and stuff.
Yeah.
They know when she, like, exactly the movements she made.
Every time she opened those doors, they have it accounted for, and then compared to her typical activity in the house and, you know, how many times the
Yep.
doors would usually open versus on this day.
And how often she was downstairs down
Yep.
there and all, yeah, into Gannon's room and stuff.
Right. They know that he, and the blood trail goes from his room to the garage, which they know because, oh, thank you, Delane. I'm sorry I missed it. They know because the blood trail goes from there to the garage, which is where her Tijuan was parked. The Volkswagen was in the garage, and that's where she ends up putting him.
Yeah.
This is in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I think my thought is that he could have
Wait,
probably
is
knocked
that
her with a
them?
candle, and then she hits him or pushes him up against this big white pillar, and he's internally injured.
Or even as she's maybe hitting him even after the candle situation, and he, you know, he's stumbling, there's a lot of movement going on, and maybe he falls into it, hits something on the pillar then too.
Right. So he
Was
gets
that
in,
just
he gets
them?
in the truck over here, and it's so hard to see. I'll drop this in. This is from Wicked Truths, YouTube, but he drops something, but he gets in the car. I don't think he has a hat on. I just think he has his blue jacket on, but I don't know for sure. I don't remember that. But when he comes home, he actually gets out the other side of the truck.
Okay.
And he can't shut his
So
door,
when
can
he
he?
drops
Does she have
them-
to? I'm sorry, Ellie.
No,
Yeah,
that's
he already
okay.
dropped
No,
the item,
go
and
ahead.
then she came and picked it up for him.
Who shuts his door? Does he pull his door shut, or does she? Like, does she shut it for
I
him?
don't remember.
Like, is he even able to shut his door? He couldn't even pick the thing up.
Al got a text on his phone when they were out shopping that said, "Dad, can I play my Switch today?" And Al said, "No, buddy, not today." And I wonder, was that Letitia or was that Gannon? She didn't take her phone. Remember, she
Right.
left her phone at home.
Yep.
And so, do you think that was Letitia trying to act like Gannon?
I think the asking about the Nintendo was Gannon, and I think it stops being Gannon when Al. Is it Al that gets the text, or is it Harley that gets the text saying, "If you need Letitia, call me,"
That's
or
Harley.
something like that? Is that
Harley.
Harley? Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Because wasn't he grounded from his phone anyway?
Yeah. Well, he was definitely grounded from his Nintendos and things like
Switch.
that for sure.
Yeah.
So I would assume the phone too, right?
Yeah. That's what I would think too. So I don't know.
But that's Al's
Oh
only
my
form of
God, poor
communication,
baby.
possibly, if Letitia isn't around. Like, how did that work in
Yeah.
their home, you know, like when the kids are punished and he's not around?
I don't.
He does look very pale. He's very, very skinny, and you could see by the walk. I mean,
My God. Yeah, you can see so much better now.
Yeah.
Zoomed in.
How do you drive around with that baby suffering like that? And I can't even, and then have the actual balls to sit up in front of everybody afterwards when they're coming at your neck about this, and to get anything. Like, the way she goes on about her innocence is it really is. It's like she honestly believes she is another person.
Yes, like that interview at the end that was, they're like, "What would you say to Gannon at the very end if you have one thing?" She's like, "I would say, I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait for everybody to apologize
about
for
her.
accusing me of what they've done."
Yep,
And it's
nothing
like,
about him.
huh?
All about her and her innocence, as
Right,
she's
not
lying her whole ass off. Yep.
right. Nothing like we're gonna, we're never gonna give up, Gannon. Just be strong. We're gonna find you.
Yes.
We're looking as hard as we can. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's mainly dear Gannon, I need you to show back up because I'm getting accused.
Yeah.
I need you to come here to clear my name.
Yep.
Tell me they're so sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is
Only she said it worse. That would have been better if she would have said it the way I said it.
Yep.
I think
Sorry,
the issue
Teresa.
is that, no, you're fine. This video right here, so like this is when they're coming back and nobody sees him get out of the car.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's just because he gets out on the other side. And this was like a huge point of controversy when this video was released.
Yeah.
Like right off the bat.
Yeah.
But
Even with his dad, right? Because the neighbor says, like, yeah, I showed his dad and he was mad and upset. And, like, we know that they started having a falling out after that. Like, that's why I think he was questioning her and things weren't adding up, and we see how she spins out of control like that.
Well, Al said to the neighbor as he was showing him the footage, Al says, because the neighbor says it on the interview, and he he says, "Oh my God, she did do it."
Yeah.
She lied to me, is what he said.
Lied to me.
She
Yeah.
lied. She lied. He said that he crumbled. He like basically fell to the ground and cried and was said she lied. She lied.
Could you imagine being and watching that footage?
No. No. And then for her to be standing out in front of my house giving an interview bitching that I didn't let her sleep under my roof anymore.
Yep.
I don't know how he contained himself, to be quite frank.
With that
Yeah,
nasty,
no
nasty
doubt.
attitude too. Yeah, no.
And I don't know how Landon contained herself, because I'm telling you what, it would have taken everything in the world.
yeah.
And you know it did for her, because she's feisty a little bit. You can tell she don't take no shit, like seriously.
No. And she ain't gonna take no shit from this lady.
Especially,
and she does in court. She's like stares at her. She's like ready to like go ahead and look at me, bitch. Do it. I dare you.
Yep.
All right, I'll play some more of this, and then
there was comments about Gannon
can go on with the
getting pushed
presentation.
off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it, and I would never, never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the.
Okay, I got to go back to this. So she does not serve the country. She was not in the military. She was 17 at the time. She's talking about Harley, and Harley was wanting to join the military, but she's talking about like, she's already in the military and this is what she's doing. And this is, and they put her, in this situation and so on and so forth. That's not true. So this is also a lie that she's now telling national television.
I'm shocked.
I know. I knew you would be.
Keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there.
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was a law enforcement officer?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay. But they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping, because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in the handcuffs in the store, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. They could approach me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your chat. Doing great. Still going to recording. Still can hear you okay. I hear not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the source.
Oh yes. Wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we can protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and You know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house. And we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids, we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay. But he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? We don't. That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here, because she can go and say that, you know, she came home from work after the hike, and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay. Yeah.
Now listen how she talks to Harley.
Okay, well, hold on real quick, because she wants to say, like, she came home after the hike. Harley did not go on the hike. Harley did not go to Garden of the Gods with them on Sunday. So Harley was at work. So Harley says that she saw Gannon that night, but she wasn't at Garden of the Gods. And she talks about that they have 2 little dogs. Well, one of the dogs was Al's, and so in the divorce, Al actually asked for his dog back, and then everybody acted like that was terrible, and like poor Harley, who got her dog taken away from her, but she had the other dog. It was a mess. Yeah, so now she's going to get Harley from the car, and
while telling Harley exactly what to say.
Yeah, because listen what Harley says
Mike.
right before she gets there.
I need Harley at home after the hike, because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
She goes, so do you want me to say yes?
she doesn't know she's got a hot mic.
No,
Yeah.
yes, you came home from work, and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth, because she is still, you know, a child.
We heard you, Letitia. We know exactly what the fuck you just said.
But don't involve your own child. You know, that would help.
She forgot. That's so funny.
Dumbass.
Harley looks so scared. Like, oh man.
Harley's like, man, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
She is a beautiful
Crazy
girl.
lady's coming for me next.
Also, y'all notice that she changed up her story about the cops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She said that the gun was pointed at her daughter, then changed it to I saw the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that
It's
anymore.
like ridiculous.
That reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know, that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give,
Yeah, that's why you don't want to answer it.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel
Can
like
you
this-
bring a brush into this and some soap?
what feels like
The anger I feel for this woman.
you are
okay,
so-
okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me, it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon.
Oh, yes, you do.
At home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license, and I shouldn't even be a teacher, and they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move, and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal
Bullshit.
activity, you know, or any of those things. And it just
Yeah,
got
Dr. Letitia,
professional status, you know.
tell him.
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
It definitely is. And, you know, here's the thing that kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, like, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about.
Right, because it is a child. You idiot.
That's how I feel. Like, we just should not. We should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
We've gotten to the end, Letitia. Guess where you're at?
Mm-hmm. And she honestly believes herself and thinks the world does too.
When you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone.
Oh, it has to be sincere too.
Mhm.
Especially from my husband.
That's what she's really worried about.
Did she say especially from my husband? Is that what she said?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
She,
And that's the message to Al.
Come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
He was in the military, Riddler. Oh God, this chick.
okay. Also, I have another thing that I want to add to this. I don't know if you guys caught it. I know I'm sure you did, but nobody said anything. When she's talking about Gannon and her message, and not her message, but it's right before this. She's trying to clear up rumors or some such nonsense, and she says, "Because I've been taking care of him for so long." That's the real problem. That's the
right
issue
there.
right there. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
a tell. That was a leak.
She constantly goes back to that. She constantly
Yes.
talks as if these children are an amazing thing, part of her world. And she gives that 2 seconds, but then she'll give it 20 minutes of how much it was a burden to do it.
Correct.
You know,
And
you're
how
like,
much
okay.
of a martyr she is.
Right. You don't
Like
hear her
the
say that
comments
about her
his
child, though.
mom. Yes. And the comment about his mom. What did she say? Oh, when his mom didn't want to, or something.
Right.
Just like,
Exactly.
She wants everyone to remember these things.
Because his mom
Yeah.
didn't want to.
Yep.
Well, she one of her Google searches. I don't. I pull up my timeline real quick. But one of the Google searches is like, it should like the mom send me a Valentine's Day card because I raised the kids.
Yep.
And it's like, one,
Mm,
no.
yeah. You don't get a
I mean,
special
look.
award.
I'm petty, but even I'm not that petty.
Right. Bye, Sir Cool Box. Get some sleep. Hi, Truth Seeker. Okay, so
The
I'm trying to think
audacity.
there's just so much crazy that happens at this point. I don't even know if we've covered all of it, but because there's just so much more that happens.
Yeah.
But they end up actually arresting her before they find Gannon. And I know that I don't know if that's how you have the slides, because I think that you tell me. So they
No, these
arrest
slides
her.
are out of order.
No, because you have her. She's arrested here.
Yeah.
And then they end up finding Gannon. But so, like I said, so she's been playing on social media this whole time. And one of the things she actually talks about was that she was going to Florida on social media, that she was going to go to, I think it was like the Daytona 500 she was going to go to?
Yeah.
But it was actually like canceled.
Hmm.
So, hi Tia. Timelines.
Tia.
I love Tia. I know.
Oh, hey.
So, so she drives from Colorado to Florida. They stay at a hotel, and she goes at like 4:00 in the morning and puts a suitcase over this bridge.
Mhm.
But I guess I should back up, because as they did this, they actually found a massive amount of blood that was in Gannon's bedroom. And so by the amount of blood, they determined that he was most likely not alive. What they also found was that she had tried to clean the scene. And we know that she texted Harley on the 28th to bring home cleaning supplies. So Harley actually comes home from work and picks up Lena, and then they go to pick up these cleaning supplies, and there's some text messages. She brings back the cleaning supplies, and then so they know that she did try to clean it up, but what they did, and I think I actually have some of those pictures too. Let me see if I do.
Thanks, Truth Seeker. Thank you very much. Yes, we know about Eduardo.
I think I do.
Oh, thanks, Shay.
So they take off like the outlet covers, and because she had cleaned around the outlets, you could see the clean on the outside. But when you took off the outlet covers, you could actually there was actually still blood spatter inside of them.
Oh yes.
The mattress itself was actually soaked.
Oh my God.
I know that's going to be. I know it's horrendous. So the mattress was actually soaked as well in blood, and then behind the wall. And so he had actually moved. What they determined was she'd actually moved his bed up against the wall, which it wasn't normally up against the wall. She moved his bed up against the wall to try to cover these areas that she had cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
So
this
he was in his bed.
What she did all day on the 28th before she goes and picks up, or was it? Yeah, the 28th. No, the 27th. This is the 27th still. Sorry, I'm on the wrong date. That's the 27th she's doing this, because the 28th she goes to pick up Al.
So Do you think that they got home and he went and laid down and then she attacked him in his bed? 'Cause
I
that's
do.
kind of the way that's kind of what I think too. And
Mhm.
what about those pictures of him in his bed that she took that day, right around that time? And his
So
hands
that
are
was
all
the morning
swollen.
time. That was before everything. So she actually takes pictures at like 8 o'clock in the morning of Gannon in his bed. And people like freaked out when these came out because they were like, oh my gosh, is he actually like not alive in these pictures? But it would come to find out later as the probable cause and then the preliminary hearing. What we know is that he was actually still alive because this is before he leaves. She takes 2 of them. But you see how his bed is like got a
Yes.
gap in between the wall. So
Mhm.
when the cops come and do like the thorough investigation, his bed's actually pushed up against the wall.
So wait, I didn't realize that they were taken in the morning, and I don't know how. But so do you think, why would she take these? Because she was
She sends
planning.
them to Al when she's telling him how sick Gannon is, because she tells him the night, basically that Gannon was up all his Sunday night sick. He's got a stomach ache and he's probably not going to go to school, but she'll call out to work and she'll stay. She'll stay home with him.
Is this like a normal thing though that she does when her kids are sick? She takes
No idea.
pictures and like sends them, or she takes
Yeah.
like what was like why
That's
is
so
what I'm
weird.
thinking.
for this?
That's what
I
I'm
can tell
thinking.
y'all,
Why did she
and
do it? To, like,
in my
prove
entire track record as a parent, which my oldest is 26, never have I taken I don't want to say never. I might have once or maybe once. If they had like a rash or something,
Yeah.
would
You
I have
kinda
taken a
figure it out.
picture?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. But not just, I would never have sent my husband what really is, in my opinion, is tantamount to a proof of life picture.
Yes.
That's really what it
literally.
looks like.
Look at the
Yeah.
You
angle.
know?
It's not like she's getting his resting face to show
Well,
out that he's
the other one is
comfortable
from
and
over
good.
here. So there's 2 pictures. There's one that's from this direction.
Okay.
And I think I have it. I don't know if I have it in color though. That might be one I don't have in color. But so she takes 2. So one's standing over here facing him, and then the other one's at the end of his bed going this way, the one that you see.
So weird.
But what would I mean, what, I don't
His
even
hands
understand
appear to be swollen.
Yeah. Like what was her why? Like what did she tell people, or what did she tell Al or whatever when she's like, yeah, I just took random pictures of
Right.
Gannon sleeping, supposedly sick in bed from a very awkward angle to where you can't really actually see his face. Well, at least not in this one anyway. But what, like why?
And why are the blankets
The-
bunched up? See at
do
the
you
end
think-
how they are? It looks like there's something under the blankets.
Yes, Jen. Yes.
Many
There's
think
a
that's the
wedge.
suitcase.
It's a wedge.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
It's a
They
wedge?
also have a wedge on their bed. There's a wedge on that video from the night before where you have Lena on the bed.
Okay.
People
Let me pull
see
that
there,
up so people
and
can see that.
there's like a wedge, and if you look, I think that's kind of what it is. One that's like props your back up. You know what I mean? That you will keep you propped up, or you
Yeah,
can put
it's
your
for
legs
people
on.
with back. Yeah, it's for people with back problems. What
Mhm.
11-year-old has back problems?
Right.
Bless
My
his
know.
little
dad had one
heart.
of those. Oh man.
I had one of those, but that's because I had back problems.
It's on my back.
I'm also
one
a
of those.
Grammy, so I guess that's okay. Shouldn't be
Yeah,
insulted at the
is
grandma
that it?
jokes. I
Never.
gotta take it.
Never.
This video is chaos. And so
See,
to really understand the full concept of it, you have to go through it very slowly, which I'm not going to do tonight, but I know a lot of channels have, if you want to look back on any of those, you guys, and they've gone like frame by frame through it because it's very quick and it's chaos. So
yeah, it's upside down.
Letitia actually supposedly accidentally records this. So this is the night of the 26th, January. This is Sunday night. So
You
remember
see the wedge there?
he supposedly dropped the knocked over the candle.
Okay, so this is Candlegate.
This is Candlegate.
Yeah.
Alicia, we know he's actually not deceased because they took her phone and got the timestamps of those photos, and we know we see him on video surveillance of the neighbors after. So that's how they ended up proving, because people freaked out they thought that he was deceased in those pictures when they very first got released to the public. So I'm going to play this, but just know it is chaos as it goes. I muted too fast. So what you see right here is this is actually Lena laying in bed in the master bedroom. This is Letitia and Al's bedroom. So that's where it starts at. And remember, Gannon's room is on the lower floor, it's a refinished basement is what it really is.
And that white thing is that wedge that she's laying on or whatever.
I wonder if, so do you think you may have put that in there? Huh.
I don't know. I mean, that's what I've saw theories. It could be a suitcase too. I guess we really don't know, but it wonder why, no matter what it is. Why would, I don't know.
Okay, let me play it real quick.
Well, devastating. Initially, Scott, I can't lie, when the TMZ information was
Gannon, I
initially
promise it's the last time I'm going to ask you. I'm just freaked out, okay? Are you sure you didn't do it on purpose?
He did it.
Okay, we promise. We promise. Pinky promise.
Pinky.
Okay, all right. So listen. We're all right. We're gonna have to sell stuff to fix it. Okay. So we figure out what we gotta sell. We can sell the sofa. We can sell whatever, because we gotta get it fixed. So, lady, don't be mad at us and kick us out of the house. Okay. You got it?
Oh my God, I can't stand her.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Like that physically
Oh.
makes me, she deserves everything she get. Yes.
She does. Like the way she talks to him in his poor little voice, whining like that. You know he was hurt at
He's
that
hurt.
point.
He's
Oh
scared.
my God. Oh, I can't stand her. I seriously, if I seen her in person,
Yeah. We always
it'd
talk
be
about those
so
5
hard.
minutes, right, Allie?
Yes.
That 5 minutes, boy.
Ugh.
So, daycare mama says wedges can also be used to reflux kiddos.
Oh,
If
yeah.
that was his issues with his tummy, that might have been why they had it. My
Okay.
daughter has one. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look, learn
Mhm.
something new every day.
That's what
It
you
almost
like having a
looks like-
daycare mama in your chat.
Yeah.
It don't. Like,
Yeah.
it almost looks like he had his legs on it or something.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. I know that when this very first came out, a lot of people speculated this was the suitcase
Okay.
at the end of the bed.
It almost could look like it outside of
I agree.
looking at it on this angle. You can actually see where it angles up a little bit, where it looks like it could be the bottom part of his leg at the end. No?
Well, his legs would be, you mean his thing, hold on. His head, his arms, so his torso, this is his booty, and then his legs would be like right here. So whatever's down here is definitely not his legs. His legs would only go to here. He's only 11.
No, that's what I mean though. Is that meant to prop
It could
something
be the
up,
wedge, though.
or like what was the point of it? Like, why is it? And then took a picture of it?
I don't know. I'd be interested if
There must be some part of this story that is missing from the things that were given to the public.
For sure.
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
possible that the reason she took the pictures is because she and Al were obviously having a conversation about Gannon being quote unquote sick, and that it was tummy issues. And he suggested to her, put the wedge in the bed.
Mhm.
And she's telling him, I did, and look what he's done.
Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, might
Something
be.
like
Yeah.
that.
Great point.
Yep.
That is a good point.
Now, why
bet
would you
you
have to elevate the child's legs? Like, and this is just am I missing something as far as like
It
a
could
tummy
be.
ache or something that?
Yeah, like I think from what you guys have said that so far and what I'm remembering and I'm piecing all together, it seems like there were many contentions in the relationship and marriage between Al and Leticia, but the main one seems to be Gannon. And I would bet money that it was over discipline. And that's what it was, that she probably said, you undermine my authority, but you leave him with me all the time.
Yes, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Because she's
constantly
a babysitter.
question my methods. You constantly question my parenting style. But if I'm a monster, why are you leaving your child with me?
Yeah.
True.
And then that final punishment was that punishment back to Al.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
There, I would be willing to bet that there is some hint of this in the text, and we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But I would also be willing to bet that it's possible that the argument, which is what I think might be the catalyst for all of this between Al and Leticia took place over the phone. They had a
Mhm.
phone conversation.
Like, I'm
And
so
that's-
X, Y, and Z. I'm sorry, Jen.
Right. Like, I'm sick and tired. You know, you left him here with me, and now you're, bossing me around and telling him telling me how to take care of him. And
Yep.
you're questioning me.
Yep.
And
And-
I think it escalated.
Yep. And maybe from incidents prior where maybe
Yes.
Al felt like she was a little bit too much. So he gave her some stipulations there, and that pissed her off too, because it took her off actual mother level, because a mother doesn't have to do that, right? Doesn't have to say, hey, can I discipline him? He talk back to me? And maybe Al didn't see it that way. But
Right.
and that was their like biggest source of contention. Oh, absolutely, Jen. Yep.
Correct. And I'm thinking that perhaps it's extra for her because you did say that her first husband, Harley's dad, passed away.
Mhm.
So she's probably not had to ask or take into consideration the other parent.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? She's never had anybody question her parenting style.
Boom.
She's
She
never,
also seems like the type that would like fly off the edge and like over punish easily. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like snap and
She was trying to
be-
manipulate him. You hear
Right,
what she's
or-
telling him? We'll have to buy a new couch.
Yes.
We're going to have to sell things. He's panicking for many different reasons.
oh my god,
He's scared he's going to get
Ugh.
beat. He's scared of already what he knows he has to deal with her. And then she's trying to pump the consequences of the
baby.
future into him, more or less, even though he's going
Yeah.
through the consequences in the actual moment.
I
That's
think he
just-
also sounds a little confused
Yeah.
in the, like, whatever. I don't believe that she's recording it on accident, number one. And number two, it almost sounds like she's documented this on purpose for a reason. And I feel like Gannon is confused by her. You swear you didn't do this on purpose, because I don't think he is the one that knocked the candle over accidentally or on purpose. But the candle definitely has something to do with it. But I don't think he is the problem with the candle. I don't think he caused anything.
Yep, I
But
agree.
anyway, it's almost like a trap. He's confused by the question that she's asking him because he didn't knock the candle over, but he knows that he has to please her
Mhm.
Right.
because her tone is everything in that. It's been a while since I've heard that video, and like some new things are coming to me.
Ooh, Jen, give that girl a read. Jen just read her up and down. Boom. Hello.
Have you decided if you're going to, are you going to stream the trial?
Yes.
You are going to stream it daily?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Head on over
I
to
want to
Jen,
make sure
please.
that, because people in chat were asking, I am not going to be streaming it, because I do all the drop off and pick up for the kids. Well, not all, but most of it. So I'd be all over the place, but I will be going live throughout the trial to discuss it. And then Crime Curious is going to the trial, and we'll be going live, I think, once a week. Crime Curious, correct me if I'm wrong, at least once a week to discuss everything that's happening in court her experience while she's in court.
That's amazing. Thank you, Crime
So
Curious.
if you want to watch the trial
Wow.
and don't want to go onto a WebEx and you want like some, commentary along with it, then Jen Liu,
Yes.
make sure to go to the Ward case studies.
Mhm.
If you guys can drop hers in there, and then to get like the firsthand experience of being in the courtroom, make sure you're subscribed to Crime Curious, because she's going to be going live as well.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah,
Thank
and then
you
I'm
for
going to be
that
going live
trial,
to
too.
talk about the insane shit that we find out. So and then-
Correct.
and you guys are all welcome anytime. And I know that Allie's Allie, you're going to go live too and discuss all the insane crap.
Oh, absolutely. I'm following it probably daily. I'm definitely going to be like, I wouldn't stream if Jen was streaming, but I will be closely.
We'll just come
monitoring
torture
and
Jen on her
following and
channel.
talking about.
Wait, so there's no court on Thursdays?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why
I
there's
might-
no court on Thursday.
I might do a daily recap after or something like that, like right after the trial or something. But I'm going to do
I
daily.
like that, Allie. That's
Yeah,
good.
I absolutely cannot wait, because when you're streaming a trial live, obviously you're watching it in the moment and you're making commentary, right? But that's part of the problem, is that
Right.
in order for it to be considered fair use, you have to continue to comment.
Yeah.
And you miss things. And so I'm so glad that you guys are all going to talk about all the things because I will miss things. So I'll just come over to y'all's channels and watch all the things that I didn't catch because I was too busy having to keep up commentary for
No, but that's what's so cool about your channel, though. Like when you do cover these trials, like I'm a dodo head half the time, especially with like the law stuff. So if I half time don't even have a clue. If I go over, you're already explaining it and breaking it down into words that a person like myself could even understand. But you know, like as the trials go,
I appreciate that.
No,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Up
That's
too,
I try.
You do.
I
No,
try.
you do, Jen. You honestly do.
Yeah, you
like
do.
you're
You do a
pleasure
great
to
job
watch
at it.
during these
Oh,
trials.
You girls.
Yeah, you're smart.
That's
You're
why
very
I
smart.
like all of you in my circle.
You make
We
us
do
get
have
it.
a pretty kick-ass circle.
Yeah, we
Got some
Yes,
smart
we do.
people. Got some good
Somebody
yeah, I
asked
think
in the chat earlier about Harley's dad and how he passed away, and I remembered that I had this, so I happened to just find it, so I just pulled it up real quick. But I wanted to just, I don't remember who asked now, but this is his coroner's report. So he died of a drug overdose with fentanyl and hydrocodone.
Oh,
Lord.
And I think Harley was approximately 10 years old at the time.
Yeah.
Wonder if there was
But
any
yeah.
resentment from that. Like with the first baby's dad and, you know, losing him, raising Harley on her own. And then she meets Al, who already has a family with this woman that she doesn't look at as even a mother. And, you know,
I'm sure it played a role in how her brain worked and how she thought of like relationships and the family circle as a whole and all that kind of stuff for sure.
I actually think Letitia, I have the opposite. She might have had a quiet resentment, but I also think that Letitia liked to be the martyr. So what's better? What more of a martyr can you be than your husband, the father of your child, not only passed away, but passed away of an overdose, which intimates that he might have been using or abusing medications, right? So you had to put up with it, you know, so you're raising a child, putting up with a spouse who is an addict, then that spouse ends up overdosing and dies as a result. So now you're a widow raising a child. Because I noticed that she comes back a lot to talking about how much time she didn't say that she spent time with Gannon. She said that she took care of Gannon. So when you use that term, in my mind, to me, what it sounds like is you're referring to it as a job.
As a job. There's no endearing words. There's
right.
no...
And to be clear, raising children, it is work. It is a job. But it's a good job. You know what I mean? It's not a burden.
And especially when they're missing, you're, you know, everything.
Right.
You're thinking that child's gone. You're taking everything back that you ever complained about, you know, like if anything, the last thing you give a shit about is that you had to take care of him, you know, like you just want him home. You want him safe. And she had to just profess her innocence. It was just all about her innocence. And
how much, and the reason she would never hurt him is not because she loved him, not because he's an innocent child who could never do anything that would warrant him being hurt in the first place. No, she wouldn't hurt him because she took care of him all the time.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Yep, she sure did, Jen. Evil.
Now, if I think I will probably do like a recap what time would they be over in Colorado in East Coast time? It would be like 6 or 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm good I'm going to have to adjust my streaming schedule since they're behind. So, you know, I'll figure, I mean, that means no naps for your girl.
Oh, neat.
Because they would be starting at nap time.
They'll probably do like an hour break in the middle. Because like when
that's not enough.
Before.
That's not enough.
It's not enough.
The afternoon sesh.
Nope.
They were friends, and she went after her husband. So, I mean, there's definitely some trauma in all of that to begin with.
Yeah.
I want to get my pause on her psych evaluations. Not because I'll be able to. I mean, I know I have a source I could take them to, but what I want to know what, when she was evaluated, what the results of those were. I want to hear about that.
Yep, we need those.
Because she definitely has this put upon martyr complex.
She looks so evil.
So you
And
guys
where
have
that-
seen that I think this is her second. Hold on.
I'll make
I
sure.
haven't heard of this channel for a long time. Okay, that's fine. This is I think her second competency hearing, and it's via Zoom because remember, there's all the COVID stuff that's happening at the time.
Right.
God.
And Sammy Sparrow, no death penalty in Colorado anymore, unfortunately. So no death penalty here. So this is Team Phoenix channel. You guys remember Team Phoenix? I don't even know if he doesn't.
Yes. I remember that.
So they
Hey, was this
she was
committed
on
before
Zoom.
the cutoff date?
Let me get to. Okay, here we go.
Was this crime committed before the cutoff date, Teresa, for the death penalty? Because I know they gave it like a year. When they decided no death penalty, it was like any case that happened before like a year and a half from then or something.
They
Like
got
it was a
rid of
while.
the death penalty when Chris Watts was being.
So that would be 2019. So that would be the year before.
Right. So this
Yeah.
is 2020. So she's not eligible for it.
Okay.
Okay, so this was caught via Zoom, and this is one of the circumstances.
Oh my God, I
hold on.
remember this video.
Well, I got to back up because there's so much that I can't, like, without having it visually in front of me. It just gets crazy. So she puts Gannon's body in a suitcase in Florida. She's arrested before they actually find him. And ironically, there was these Facebook posts from the local news that were like, there's been unidentified remains found in Florida, and they didn't know who it was. So that coroner or that medical examiner ends up having to do a search. And so it doesn't actually come out for a couple of days that it was actually Gannon, which was just crazy that he was found in Florida. So she, after leaving Florida, she goes home to her home state, South Carolina, and she's arrested in South Carolina. On her way back to Colorado for extradition, she actually attacks the female officer and tries to escape. So she has charges for attacking this officer as well. I believe she bit her. And somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, if my memory serves me, I think she bit her.
I feel that is correct.
Ooh,
What-
did you
what
see
day-
Go ahead.
When,
Go ahead,
what
Allie.
was the year of this? The date and year? Is it
January 27th,
anything?
2020.
Okay, well, listen, it says anything before July 1st, 2020 is still eligible for the death penalty.
They won't do it.
Look at
It's
the-
just like California. We actually still
Okay.
have the death penalty, but we won't enforce it. We won't enforce it while we have this governor. It's just not going to happen. They won't do it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Jen, did you see this from Teresa?
Oh, God.
Right.
That would
So,
be so
well,
Jen,
I did it today. I did a thing. I busted out the Google Maps and I mapped it from my place to where the trial is taking place. It's only like 2.5 hours away from me. It's all the way on the other coast, but it's not that far just because
Ooh.
Florida's not that wide. Now, this is what I'm thinking. After I read Sarah Boone's letters last night, one of the things that she said in those letters was this: I cannot wait to be able to tell my story and for people to be able to hear the truth, something to that effect. I believe Miss Boone will be taking the stand in her own defense. If that is the case, that is the day that I want to be at trial. I am a Florida citizen. I've got a Florida driver's license. I don't know how they're going to do it. I can't imagine that you would have to, they're only letting people from Orange County be in the courtroom. So I think, I think I'm going to try to get out there and see Sarah Boone. I need to see this woman in the flesh. I've been keeping my eye on her for quite some time now.
yes, you have.
Because I've been
Yes, you
curious what's going on with her. Because I rewatched that body cam footage today and I caught a couple of things I'm anxious to talk about. So there's that. And also thank you, Crime Curious. except for that 6 minutes where I was on mute, reading my whole heart out. On mute.
Now this video is in absolute insanity. I am so glad you found this because you cannot describe it and truly like describe how she acts without seeing it.
Yeah,
There's got
you
to be
can't
one
do
where
it
someone just
justice.
cropped this, though. I'll have to
No.
find a better version or crop it myself or something because it's so hard to see what she's just up here in the corner. But her actions are very odd, and
Looking
everything
like a
she
whole
does
pumpkin.
is very odd anyway. But it's ironic, though, because she ends up, what she does is what Aiden Fucci ends up trying to do in his court hearings when he's trying to be deemed incompetent. Like he almost watched this. It's interesting. So, okay, I'm gonna play it.
I hear. Okay. All right. And there's Mr. Allen. I saw Ms. McKinney a minute ago.
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
After watching it.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up just a second because what they're saying in here isn't actually important. So if you just put your focus on her and listen to her too, because she makes a lot of noises. So if you can try to tune out the other people and just pay attention to her, you'll get the full effect. And just watch what she's doing.
Where's that? I hear. Okay. All right. And there's Mr. Allen. I saw Ms. McKinney a minute ago. Okay. All right. We're here for a status conference to see what's going on with the second evaluation, competency evaluation for Ms. Stauch. I wanted to keep the hearing on primarily because I wanted to have some plan moving forward. And I just received last week a memo from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office indicating that they are now allowing in-person visits. And then I received this morning through my clerk that I believe Dr. Grimmett has a time that she is scheduled to meet with the defendant. Is that right, Ms. Strobel?
Yes, Your Honor. The meeting is scheduled for December 22nd.
Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, so that's Tuesday. And then
She looks like Samara from The Ring.
you anticipate the report is going to be...
That's legit what I said. I think I said it to Allie the other day.
Yeah.
Oh my God, am I getting what I deserve? No.
Saturday.
These people are paying her no, never mind either.
Nope.
That comes straight from Dr. Grimmett, Your Honor. So my hope would be that we would have it.
Like double doggy dare her to do a handstand, headstand. Like, what's her name, did?
Arias.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like to see that.
Hold a triple threat, Letitia, and stick your finger in the socket like Arias did too.
Their expert if they want to do that. And then January 19, we would figure out what the plan would be going forward. Because if Dr. Grimmett finds that the defendant is confident the case can't proceed forward, at that point we would set it for a proof evident presumption grade hearing. If Dr. Grimmett finds that she is not confident, then we would be setting this for a hearing regarding that issue. And I think we need to know the answer to that. Attorney, where's that? I hear. Okay. All right. And there's Mr. Allen. I saw Ms. McKinney a minute ago. Okay. All right. We're here for a status conference to see what's going on with the second evaluation, competency evaluation for Ms. Stauch. I wanted to keep the hearing on primarily because I wanted to have some plan moving forward. And I just received last week a memo from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office indicating that they are now allowing in-person visits. And then I received this morning through my clerk that I believe Dr. Grimmett has a time that she is scheduled to meet with.
She's like, look at me. Look at how crazy I am.
Look,
I'm
all the incompetence.
Yeah.
Do you hear her go, ah?
Yes.
I'm the only lunatic who can actually defend myself when need be. She goes
You know
crazy,
what
but then
she
can
should-
have a convo.
You know what?
Allie
Next,
was on her live the other day. She was like, you got to hear her. She goes, ah. I was watching it on replay, Allie, and I busted out laughing.
she needs to do that TikTok challenge where like she does all the spinning around, and then looks in the camera and does that. That would be better. Come on, Letitia. Show some creativity.
Mm-hmm. She almost looked like she was going to do a spin for a second and then just kind of like,
I kept waiting for her to walk like Reagan from The Exorcist down the stairs in the reverse tabletop,
Oh my God.
I do appreciate though that none of them pay her any attention.
Yep.
Yes, I mean they didn't even their faces did not even change. They're like, oh, this bitch again.
Hey, butterfly kisses. How are you?
I wonder how. I was thinking while we were watching it, like how often people do that. How used to seeing that kind of stuff they are. You know.
Yeah.
They seem pretty used to it. They're like, it's nothing, just another day.
Yep. Just another
Nothing
one.
to see here. Nothing to
Another
see
one.
here.
Another
I mean,
day.
she's just spinning. What I mean, we didn't get a song. We didn't get a dance. No headstand.
No, she flips the light switch. She flips the light switch on and off. And then she's like, ah.
She goes, oh,
Yeah.
wait, no attention from this? Okay. Something else.
Let me just stand and spin creepily. Let me give you my Samara. You're going to regret this.
She like bends down and she's like looking at the wall like she sees something there. She's like, whoa, what is that? What's happening?
I hear
If you
things. I
find-
see things.
If you find a different version of this, Teresa, send it to me and I'll make an edit and I'll put the ring in there.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find a better version. I actually think I have that. I think I screen recorded that myself when it was happening, but I just got to go way back in my phone to find it. But I remember like going through it. And I don't remember the timeline here, but so she does these two incompetency hearings. In some part of this, she decides that she's going to represent herself. So she actually fires her public defender and is going to do this all by herself. And so they have to have all these hearings where the judge is like, you do realize like how much information is in your case, right? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll do it myself. So she's like, she's insane, incompetent, but yet she's going to defend herself.
Yes, Amanda. Mm-hmm. Yeah, these letters are just if Letitia does not shine through these letters, I don't know what does.
If you guys have copies of these letters, send them to me and I'll do another dramatic reading.
Okay, we do. I have copies of all of her letters.
Perfect. I'll do another dramatic reading because I'm tired of her shit already.
I'm not going to go through and reading. So yeah, you definitely do it. But basically, she is not getting her vegan diet.
Yeah,
and
kosher,
then people are writing her threats in her peanut butter.
Yeah, she's receiving threats in my peanut butter. I'm receiving threats in my peanut butter.
So
whatever the heck that means.
she's actually in a lawsuit. She's suing them because she it's against her constitutional rights for her to be able to get the meals that she wants. So she writes letters straight to the judge with no issues, and just tells him everything she feels and everything she thinks. It's a lot. So she
as Dr. T stuff. Dr.
T. Oh, she's kosher. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm stuck on Brian Koberger apparently. Yeah, she's kosher. It was kosher. It wasn't, the food wasn't kosher.
Yeah.
Over here says I have copies of everything. If there's anything I don't have, I will be shocked. Well, I'm curious if we could share some files here and make sure that I have everything that you have.
I don't need the whole file. I just need the letters and the video.
I have my issue is I have so much, I just don't organize it as well as I should. And I could, back in the day, I was super organized, and as I've gotten older, it's gotten less and less. And I think it's just because I blame my children.
You're busy. You got lots of stuff, you got lots of stuff going on at home and stuff. So
It's just why I feel like there used to be a lot more hours in the day, and now they're gone. And then all of a sudden here we are, and it's like the middle of the night, and we're still live. And I think we covered a lot, though. I know that we missed some of the big things, like not big things, but the things. Hey, TNT.
wait, are these her are these her Facebook posts?
These are Facebook posts. Yeah, I have a crap ton of those.
I don't have those.
Facebook posts. Yeah, give me a break.
It's like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
This girl cared nothing about Gannon and all the reason Albert is supporting her until the truth comes out. This girl could go days without calling her kids, gave them up for a man, was involved in criminal activity, got on drugs, and posted nudes. I really don't care what any of you say because she is a piece of shit getting money off her child when she don't have shit and ain't never been shit. Her fake cries are to sucker, y'all. And just like she did for years with Albert, finally he realized and the kids came home. This was an accident, not some tragedy, and Gannon is alive. You are all some wannabe reporters behind a keyboard. I was there. I have contact with Albert. He knows the truth. G didn't want to be there because they pawned his items and had abuse around him. He wasn't running to her. If you cared about Gannon, you would get the facts straight and know that this is her front. I don't know what the rest of that says, but yeah, this is her just going off. She tells everybody about everything about Landon's personal life.
Oh my
It's
God.
so dirty.
Meanwhile, being the martyr.
Yep.
See?
But this is totally her. I'm telling you, like she was literally in every Facebook group about Gannon that there was. She just joined everything she could.
Yep.
And then when her account would get taken down, like I don't know if it was being reported or if she just deactivated for a certain amount of time, but then she tried to use her mom's account, and then her sisters were in there defending her.
Lord.
And anybody who remembers this is one of my favorites of all time is when somebody asked her to prove that she's actually with her mom, and they say, have your mom hold up a spoon and take a picture of her and post it. And she does. Her mom holds up a spoon, like an eating utensil, holds it up, and she takes a picture to prove that it's her and her mom.
Oh my God.
I'm like, your poor mother is just like sitting there holding a spoon for you.
Sounds like
you're this wrapped up in the Facebook drama when you
I
got
would
a
do
missing
anything for
stepchild.
my kids, but not that.
Yeah. Like what is your time being served in these?
Was it a fork?
These
It was a fork. I thought it was a spoon.
Like, here, Mom, hold this.
Oh,
here, hold on.
Well,
okay,
if it's a
cheese.
fork, that changes everything. Suddenly, I feel much better about all of this, knowing that it was a fork.
So the other thing she does is she's texting Al and she's texting her friends that she's going to prove that she's telling the truth. This is before she's arrested, obviously. She's going to tell the truth, or that she's telling the truth and that she's going to prove it. And she's going to take a lie detector test. But she's not
God,
gonna...
I forgot about this.
But she's not going to do it with the police. She's going to do it with somebody who is like on her side because, the cops are corrupt and blah, blah, blah. And so she gets pissed off because she orders this lie detector, which is fake, and it's literally through fakepolygraph.com.
Unbelievable.
And they don't send her results because she wants the results to be able to go and say, hey, I took this polygraph and here I am, I'm telling the truth. Well, they don't send the results. So she calls them and she's like, hey, where's my results? And they're like, well, there was some things on there that, we can't actually send you. We can't actually release those types of results because of the types of questions. And she gets pissed off and she's like, well, so you're just going to keep my money?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, yeah, we are.
You're not going to tell me if I was lying.
Your money. We're not going to send you anything.
Because you didn't read the TOS.
Right. So then the cops get
Dr. T.
Yeah, the cops get when she's done this, and they call in to this fake polygraph.com, and they end up getting the questions that she asked. Yeah, she's no smooth criminal. So here's her fake polygraph questions. You guys can see that. Did your stepson return to your home? Yes. Did you participate in any way in causing the death of your stepson? No. Oh, God. This woman. Let me see what else you have in here.
Love of Pete.
That's just
this
some
is
of the
Gannon's
house.
room, so you can see it's in the basement.
Little visual.
Yeah. So they do find blood going up the stairs. They find blood going into this adjoining room right here, which is like I believe was their like utility laundry room.
Yep. There's
blood also in there. Then you're coming up the stairs, and then a trail of it to the garage. And then here you go. There's your garage.
Wow.
Let me see what else you got in here. Oh, that's the interview.
That was the end of the interview where she has her say yes. Does she actually say it? Do you want me to say yes? Yeah.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna jump down and join you guys.
Yeah, I
in
think we're
chat
gonna wrap it
because-
up. But I know it's really late for you guys.
Yes. And
Is there
tomorrow
anything?
I have a lot
Add
of
whatever
driving
you
and
want to add before you go, though, Miss Allie, please.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I want to do another one with you guys on this case, like as it's
Let's do it.
happening, because
Oh yeah.
there's so much, and I have a lot of thoughts, and I think there's a lot of different angles we could look at too, regarding this. So yeah, I don't really have anything right now though, except for I cannot wait till the day that we know that she's going to be in there forever for this, because I can't stand her. I cannot stand her.
It's time to
And
say
thank
it.
you.
It's time for Gannon to get it.
Yes. And thank you for having me too. For
Allie,
real.
I
I
love you,
appreciate
man.
it.
I absolutely
you
do,
too.
and you're welcome always, anytime.
Yep. We
I
adore
love
your
all you guys.
everything.
Love you
Go try
too.
to get some rest.
All right. Yes. I got a lots of driving to do tomorrow and stuff, so I better go to bed. But
Go
yeah,
cuddle
I
up with the
will.
dates.
I'll
Get some
go
sleep.
listen to you guys while you wrap it up. Though. So, all right. I'll talk to you soon.
Good
All right, bye,
night,
honey.
Night.
Bye.
All right, Miss Jen Lou, what are your final thoughts? Like I said, I know there's some odds and end pieces that we didn't get to cover, but I mean, for the most part, I think we got the big picture. But
Letitia sucks. The end.
Boom.
She's just bad. She's just not a good person. She's just a demon. You know?
But she looks like one. She's the epitome of the people that, can you say, like the empty soul, like the empty eyes, like empty soul. Like,
yes.
That is her.
She you know what she looks like?
Or are you saying goodnight to Allie? I want to make sure I say bye to you.
Okay. She looks like, remember Lord of the Rings when Gollum got the ring, but he was Schmeagol first, or he was Smeagol? Okay. She sort of looks like the in-between Smeagol and Gollum. When he's starting to go nuts, but he's not all the way diluted, and he actually hasn't come up with the because I think Gollum has DID. Because that's how he talks to himself, in the water and stuff. It's his other personality. But she looks like Gollum in the in-between phase, before he's lost all of his hair and he's all that pale. Yeah, that's what she looks like. Mm-hmm.
Devil, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We have so much information on this case. Yeah. See, and this is, we talked about Murdoch a lot for the whole 6 weeks of his trial. And that was one that, we'd all talked about, like, I didn't follow it beforehand. You didn't follow it beforehand. So going into trial, it was very interesting to watch as the evidence unfolds. For this one, because we have followed it for so long, I'm going to be very curious on what information makes it in. One, what information comes out that we didn't know, because there's always something.
Yep. And it's always that missing piece of the puzzle that we couldn't connect something else to, or something that just didn't make too much sense, but still fit at the same time. That's what trials do. Oh, filling those gaps, boy.
And I am happy that it's going to end up being, even if it's on WebEx, and because you're going to be airing it anyway, but I'm happy that we're going to actually get to see it, because I think that's going to, her demeanor is going to say a lot.
Yes, yes. It's going to show.
Because she's just always so sunken in, like, oh, you guys all hate me, and they go, oh, poor me, I'm over here all by myself, and you're all on that side.
I want to see if
Meanwhile,
she
they're
brings.
leaving me threatening messages at my
Yeah.
peanut butter.
And my peanut butter's got threats all over it.
I wonder if she brings that tough girl, cocky attitude versus the insane looking for birds, Letitia. Like, I want to know which one's going to show up.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would be
change
like
every
to
day.
be her attorney?
Oh, I couldn't. No.
I would quit.
Yeah.
I would have been like, I need to be recused, excused,
I need
removed,
a
all of it.
raise. I need a
I
lot
have a
more money.
conflict. Yeah, I have a conflict of interest. There's all kinds of things. If there's a check mark for me not to do this, please check it because I'm all of them. Yes. All of
And
those.
Sammy Sparrow, totally agree with you. She does deserve to be seen to go down. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I didn't get to, Allie, I didn't get to ask you. Darn it. I wanted to ask you guys what your thoughts are on Harley.
Oh, yeah. You
I have several, but I'm going to wait.
Okay.
I'm torn with Harley because I see her in that interview and I see she's sunken into, she looks very scared. This is the girl that has been raised by this woman all along. And at the same time, unlike the other kids, she doesn't have the other person. Her dad's not here. She doesn't. So Letitia is her end all be all. She's her everything, literally her everything. But at the same time, it's hard for me to say that at a certain point, I'm not going to say throughout the entire, but after or at a certain point, it's hard for me to believe that she didn't know. And this is where she didn't know something. She knows her mother so well. She knew her mother was off. She had to. And I don't mean just off. I mean off. She was inside. She came in backside to home. She had to feel something off there. But then look at the interview and how that played out. Harley, you come here and you say this or you did it. And Harley it's like Harley just doesn't know what to do. So I don't know I go back and forth with Harley and what to do with her. And I try to remember the age that she was at then. And I kind of go to where she is now. And it's just, it's a hard position to be in, being Letitia's child. You know what I mean? And I couldn't imagine. She kills your stepbrother. You're with her. You're helping her buy supplies. And she doesn't even realize it, in my opinion, at that point. I think she realizes it or it hits her when they're on that drive. It had to. It had to. But I don't know how to come down on her either for it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat. I go back and forth on Harley. There's part of me that's just like, there's no way this kid didn't know what was going on. There's just no way. There's too much happening. If anybody knows her mom, it's her. But then I flip myself around and I go, and if anybody knows her mom, it's her. And she has lived with this woman her whole life, like you said. This is her only parent. This is all she has left.
That's it.
Does she? I don't know. I go back and forth on Harley. I struggle because she was only 17.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if she does end up testifying how far she's come. But watching her, well, I don't think he wasn't actually in the car. He was in the U-Haul, correct?
I believe
Somebody
so.
will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I do believe he was actually in the U-Haul. So I don't know if she would have, but I thought that for a hot minute too. So
Like
I
on
just
the
have
drive.
mixed feelings on Harley. I do.
Yeah. Like because at 17 years old, like my daughter's 17, my daughter would be very, very much aware of what is going on. It's not 12-year-old Jada who I might have been able to, like you're 17, you very much are aware of everything that's going on around you for the most part. But at the same time, knowing that my mother just killed my little brother or my step little brother, what the hell would she do with me next? And all at the same time, loving her because that's all she has. Like, what do you do with that? Like,
yeah.
What do you do? It's just so,
Yeah.
I don't know, loyalty, but being petrified all at the same time, like that she could do it to me.
That's true. I mean, that's true. I mean, yeah.
Could she flip that bad? Or it is hardly,
maybe.
I don't know if my daughter at 17 would even think of, she would know I did something wrong and she would know it was completely horrible and all the, but I don't know if my daughter would comprehend or understand all the police stuff that would happen afterwards or all the, all that shit.
Well, right. Plus, if it didn't start with Gannon, maybe Harley to some extent is the victim of some type of, abuse.
Yeah.
And so it's a learned behavior. She knows what, she knows how to, they're hyper vigilant. So they pay attention and step on eggshells. And if your mom tells you, if, especially in this such scenario, if she were to say, you need to tell them this, that, or the third, she would say this, that, or the third. You know what I mean?
That interview shows it.
Yeah.
It
We'd
shows
have
how
to
she
know.
commands her,
Yeah.
She's, Mom, what do you want me to say? Or should I say yeah? Or like, I don't know. It's hard to read Harley in that.
I think my concern is because she was raised by Letitia, and if Letitia was like a monster the whole time, or even close to it, then, and if Harley did know and doesn't say anything,
right? What does that?
And what kind of future does she now have? You know what I'm saying? Because that's where your generational traumas come in, and I don't know. That just I don't have a one way or the other answer on her at this moment, but I do have a lot of questions because I just don't know if she didn't know.
And isn't it odd on that Mother's Day thing where she brings in her friends? It was almost like she wanted to show the world, okay, you don't believe all the wonderful things I say about my mother because I'm her child, so you just assume I'm going to say that. I'm going to bring my friends in, other people, other faces, to tell you how wonderful she was. But it's actually going to my mother, but knowing the world would catch this. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
That said something to me.
Yeah.
Like she didn't want to be alone saying all these wonderful things about her mother that she absolutely still loves.
Yeah.
So get my friends on it too to back me up and say that she was like, because every one of them almost say the same thing. She was like our second mom. She was our, they back up everything Harley says.
Oh, we lost Jen.
Oh, Jen Liu, where are you?
That's okay. I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we covered a lot of the basics. We're going to take a look deeper into the timeline on Friday when Crime Curious comes on, because she's done a lot of research. If you guys were around when I said, like, I started this timeline, I put a bunch of time into it, and then I saw hers and I was like, well, mine just looks like shit now. So,
but you still did a great job.
She's done an amazing job. So I'm very happy that she's going to come on with us on Friday. We'll get to go through the timeline, but we've covered the bigger chunks. So it'll be easier if you guys make sure you watch this one. So then that way, when we go on Friday, we'll get more into the nitty gritty and get to know what Crime Curious has in store for her lives in the trial. So
yes, go check out.
I am very thankful for all of you. I'm very thankful for Mia Moore Michelle for putting this together for Gannon, and Jen Liu and Allie. I love you guys. You guys don't even know how much you mean to me. I thank you so much for coming up and covering this with us. And
you guys made the live extra better, and all your insight was just perfect.
And thank you to the wrenches who are amazing, and they take care of dropping the channels and dropping it like it's hot, and making sure you guys are in the know about where to go and who to talk to, and to the guys' viewers, especially the ones who were here waiting for us. Once again, I apologize, but I thank you, and I know that you guys have 1,000 other places that you could spend your time, and you choose to spend it here with us, and I appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. We'll be back Friday morning, and it's 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 Mountain, 12 Central, 1 Eastern. I'm curious on Friday. And if you guys wouldn't mind, before you leave, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Kind of helps with the algorithms on YouTube. Make sure that people know that we're here. Make sure you guys, if you missed anything here and you need to go back and refresh, you can do that, or you can come on Friday and ask us questions, because I'll have one of the people who knows
everything
way more than I even do on with us, and I appreciate you. And we'll see you guys on Friday.
Bye, guys.